Chapter 5027. Ah! Luoxia screamed and fell to the ground. The intense pain caused his body to roll around continuously. However, in the next moment, his strong desire to live made him swallow a stream of energy. Then he took out another one and refined it. The others looked at this scene in shock. They did not expect Ziqin to attack directly, and in the eyes of the many one-strength realm, there was a carefree expression. Hu Zheng's eyes were shining while Miao Pengfei sighed. This matter could not be resolved peacefully. You! Luoxia fell to the ground and glared at Ziqin. However, after making eye contact with Ziqin, he did not dare to say a word. This was because if he spoke any more nonsense, he would die. Sir, what do you mean by this? Luoxia changed his tone. Even Ziqin was slightly stunned by this change. Then, a murderous intent flashed in his eyes. Initially, he did not intend to kill anyone. However, he changed his mind now. Sir, it's a misunderstanding. There must be some misunderstanding between us. Luoxia felt the murderous intent in Ziqin's eyes and explained again. His eyes were filled with fear. If I said something wrong, I'm willing to apologize to you. Sir, please don't hold a grudge against me. While begging for mercy, Luoxia kept refining the energy to recover his life. In the end, Ziqin did not kill him. He only looked at Luoxia. Luoxia's legs grew out first. Then his desire to live exploded. He quickly got up and said, Sir, you were talking about the energy, right? I'll distribute it now, and I promise I won't take any more. After saying that, he turned around and shouted, You mother asterisk curs! Hurry up and take away the energy that belongs to you. Why didn't you remind me when none of you took the energy? Then he took out hundreds of streams of energy with one hand. These streams of energy floated in the sky and emitted a bright light. Seeing this, everyone immediately came forward and took a stream of energy. With this stream of energy, many of them would be able to survive today. After taking the energy, everyone bowed to Ziqin. Ziqin's action saved them. As for the risk, Ziqin alone bore it. The group of second-strength realm cultivators at the periphery watched this scene silently. No one said a word. However, when they looked at this new leader, they all had complicated expressions in their eyes. Some people were excited, some sighed, and some had sarcastic looks on their faces. This kind of boss was rare, but unfortunately, in this kind of environment, this kind of boss usually didn't live long. My lord, there's a law-breaking beast. Suddenly, a cry of surprise sounded from afar. Ziqin turned his head at the sound and saw beams of light outside the bonfire. Those were the eyes of the law-breaker beasts. They were like bright lanterns, and there were quite a few of them. Ziqin strode forward. Luoxia stared at Ziqin's back, a cold light flashing in his eyes. Many law-breaker beasts. In Ziqin's field of vision, there were indeed many law-breaker beasts. However, thinking about it, it made sense. Since they dared to rush up like this, there must be a lot of them. Everyone, if you want the energy, you can attack together. However, you must be careful of your own life. Ziqin shouted to the back. Luoxia snorted subconsciously. Guarding is your job. It has nothing to do with us. However, Luoxia quickly reacted and quickly corrected himself. However, if anyone really wants to gain something, you can attack. Kill. After Ziqin finished speaking, he rushed forward and ignored what happened behind him. Seeing this, the others followed suit. The lawbreaker beast in the lead was surrounded by two streams of energy. It was obviously an existence comparable to the second force realm. Ziqin went forward, and the other party pounced forward. Just as the two sides met, Ziqin struck out with his palm. Buzz! Lines of rule force appeared in his palm and swept forward, passing through the law-breaker beast's body. In the next moment, the other party's body disintegrated into pieces and scattered on the ground. When the others behind saw this, they were shocked. To kill a second force realm lawbreaker beast in an instant, This combat power was too strong, wasn't it? The others rushed up and fought fiercely with the lawbreaker beast. Zichen encountered a second one, and it was also a one-hit kill. Seeing this, Luo Xie's heart skipped a beat. Now he finally understood why the Lord wanted to keep Zichen alive. His combat power was really extraordinary. Thinking back, he still felt cold all over. At the same time, he was glad that he reacted in time. Otherwise, he would have died. Among the First Force realm, some people also rushed up because there were First Force realm existences among the lawbreaker beasts. They might not be able to kill them one-on-one, but they could join forces. With the absolute advantage in numbers, this battle was completely one-sided. When the other lawbreaker beasts saw this, they all ran away. The remaining corpses were quickly disintegrated and turned into beams of energy. Miao Pengfei followed behind and picked up all of Zichen's share. The two of them would definitely be on the run next, so they needed to save some energy. Everyone turned back, and the injured began to refine energy to recover. Zichen returned to the bonfire. "Lord, why did you hold back?" Hu Jing lowered his voice and asked. If he killed Luo Xie directly, it would be the end of everything. He believed that the First Force realm existences would not dare to report him. Zichen shook his head. He had thought about killing them, but he had held back in the end. After that, there were no more dangers. When the sky began to brighten, Miao Pengfei continued to give everyone 2 beams of energy each. Zichen did not hold back. When Luo Xie saw this, he could only give out energy along with Zichen. Over the next few days, everything was peaceful, and Luo Xie did not dare to hold back another beam of energy. Now that they had energy, the First Force realm existences did not die. When they looked at Zichen, their eyes were filled with gratitude. Before coming, Miao Pengfei had warned Zichen to be careful of Hu Zhang. This was because Hu Zhang had a good relationship with Philo, and he might avenge him. However, after spending a few days together, not only did Hu Zhang not show any intention of revenge, but he also explained many secrets to Zichen. They finally arrived at the first mine, and their mission was half complete. Next, they would have to escort another group of people back with the crystals they had mined. Those people were also under Luo Xie's control. The first mine was very large, and anyone could enter. Zichen also had this idea. At that moment, Hu Zhang suddenly stopped him. "Lord, are you going to the mine?" Zichen nodded and said, "I'll go in and take a look." Hu Zhang continued, "Lord, are you here for the martial crystal?" "Yes, I want to try my luck." Seeing Hu Zhang's expression, Zichen asked, "What? Are you not allowed to enter?" "Yes, but the martial crystal is very special. If you encounter it, the chances of you dying are very high." Hu Zhang glanced at Zichen before lowering his voice and saying, "Lord, even if you're lucky and don't die and find the martial crystal, you'll still die if you break through." "Why?" Zichen did not understand. After reaching the Third Force realm, he could basically do whatever he wanted in this region. Who could hurt him? Chapter 5028. Disappeared. Zichen's expression changed slightly. He could not believe it. 3 strength realm cultivators were considered top-notch experts here. How could they disappear? "Yes, I know of 2 who suddenly disappeared," Hu Jing said. "Did they enter Shada City?" "Impossible, it's not that fast." Zichen fell into deep thought. He understood what Hu Jing meant. "I heard that the 2 strength realm cultivators went to look for the shaman after they broke through." His words were very obvious. This was also the reason why Hu Zhang stopped Zichen from entering the mine. Everyone could enter except for Zichen. Zichen would be in danger if he went back this time. The matter with Luo Xie was not over yet. The other party had been well behaved during this period of time. They were not really yielding, but they were enduring. When they returned, they would definitely cause trouble. It's obviously a good thing if we can find the martial crystal after entering. However, if we can't find it, it will be endless trouble. This was Hu Zhang's warning. One had to admit that it was very reasonable. Zichen nodded and gave up on the idea of entering. The main reason was that the martial crystal here depended on luck. The mine was so big, but only one piece was produced after so many years. The probability was too low. The others had already made their preparations. Everyone would return early the next morning. Of course, this was all arranged by Luo Xie. This was supposed to be a huge profit, but unfortunately, it was ruined by Zichen. However, Zichen's actions saved at least dozens of lives. There was also a person in charge of the first mine. He was arranging accommodation for the newcomers and assigning new tasks. The people Zichen brought were all resting in the open. Zichen looked at the busy crowd and thought about Hu Zheng's words. Obviously, they could not enter the mine anymore. Otherwise, there would be trouble. Suddenly, a panicked voice came from one of the mines. Many people were running out crazily. Run! Dead! They're all dead! Everyone shouted and quickly rushed out from inside. What happened? A person in charge came forward and asked, "My lord!" Someone dug a place, and a ray of light suddenly flew out. When the light came into contact with a person, it would drill into the person's body and the person would die. A survivor said in horror. When Hu Zheng heard the other party's voice, his expression changed. Zichen looked at Hu Zheng. "Do you know what it is?" Hu Zheng said in a deep voice, "Maybe it's the martial crystal stone. It's emitting martial power." Zichen thought of the killing crystal. If he wanted to touch the killing crystal, the first thing he would encounter would be the killing force. Only after successfully blocking it would he be able to obtain the crystals. At first, Zichen did not go in because he was not sure. But now, it was obvious that Wu Jingshi had appeared again. It was worth a try. Then why did you come out? Why aren't you going in? The person in charge shouted, "Dig that thing out. Each of you will be rewarded with 10 strands of energy." This reward was not small, but compared to his own life, it was insignificant. No one dared to enter. No matter how the person in charge beat and scolded them, no one went in. That kind of power was too terrifying. Only death awaited those who touched it. Damn it, it's definitely martial crystals. This is a great opportunity. Luo Xie could not help but step forward and say, "Whoever can go in and bring out a crystal will be rewarded with 100 strands of energy." The reward was increased by 10 times, which made many people tempted. But when they thought of the deaths of those people, no one dared to go in. 200 strands! Luo Xie shouted again. After so many years of embezzlement, he was really rich. At this moment, Zichen suddenly realized that he had been tricked by Gavin. Luo Xie, who was in charge of a few people, could take out more than 200 strands of energy. The dignified Gavin, who was in charge of a force, could not take out more than 100 strands of energy every day. But now was not the time to worry about this. Zichen walked forward. "I'll go take a look." "You?" Luo Xie turned his head and glanced at Zichen. The mockery that had subconsciously surfaced in his eyes immediately disappeared when he saw Zichen clearly. I already said that there will only be rewards if you take out the crystals. If you can't take out the martial crystals, there will be no reward." Luo Xie said, "Also, life and death are up to fate. Who will lead the way for me?" Zichen looked at the miners. Naturally, no one was willing to lead the way because going in again would mean death. Zichen took out 2 strands of energy and said, "Just point the way for me after you go in. You don't have to take the risk." Luo Xie in the distance saw this, and a trace of disdain flashed in the corner of his mouth. "Only 2 strands of energy. Poor bastard. Serves you right for not being greedy." Naturally, no one around agreed. Zichen took out 2 more strands of energy. "It's just a guide. Just tell me the exact route when you think it's safe. 5 strands of energy, I'll go." At this moment, someone suddenly spoke. "Let's go." Zichen took out another strand of energy. A total of 5 strands of energy were thrown to the other party. "Sir, follow me." The other party took the energy, picked up a torch, and walked into the mine again. Zichun followed behind, picked up a torch and walked in. At this time, he still had to put on an act. Miao Pengfei was very nervous. After returning this time, Luo Xia would definitely make things difficult for him. However, if Zichun refined the martial crystal here and broke through to the third strength realm, he would naturally be able to resolve the crisis. Luo Xia watched Zichun go in, and a smile flashed in the corner of his mouth. It seems that I don't need to target you anymore. He naturally knew about the martial crystal. It was indeed a good thing. However, it was extremely difficult to obtain it, not to mention a second strength realm. Even a third strength realm cultivator would die if they encountered it. Zichun entered the mine. The torch emitted a faint light, barely illuminating the surroundings. The first strength realm cultivator who led the way carefully moved forward. Zichun said, "I'll go in front. You lead the way." Zichun walked in front and sped up. The first strength realm cultivator began to guide him, but after walking halfway, he did not dare to go in. He gave Zichun the direction and immediately retreated. Zichun followed the other party's guidance and walked forward. He gradually increased his speed. Last time, the power of the killing crystal was neutralized by the slaughter spirit. He did not know if the slaughter spirit could neutralize the power this time. After going deeper, Zichun's eyes began to shine. At the same time, he summoned the slaughter spirit and made multiple preparations. Following the person's guidance, after turning a corner, Zichun gradually approached his destination. In his field of vision, rays of bright light appeared. These rays of light were like energy filling the surroundings. Whoosh! Under Zichun's control, the slaughter spirit rushed past, but did not absorb these rays of energy. In the next moment, these rays of energy moved and suddenly rushed toward Zichun. Chapter 5029. Boundless energy entered Zichun's body, forming a powerful destructive force that wanted to destroy his vitality and body. Without any warning, Zichun's expression changed drastically. The energy around his body surged, trying to force the energy out of his body. It was useless. After the energy entered his body, it immediately integrated into every part of his body, as if it had become a part of his body. This feeling was very strange. It was as if a huge monster had drilled into his body, trying to force his body to explode. Ah! The intense pain made Zichun scream. His vitality began to disappear. This kind of destruction was not caused by destruction, but by explosion. It was as if he had eaten a lot of things. This was the feeling of his body exploding. These lights were actually energy. In his mind, just as this thought appeared, Zichun suddenly felt a huge tremor. Boom! This tremor came from his heart. After the tremor, it formed a ripple that spread out. Then, Zichun's body seemed to have become a bottomless pit. The energy from within crazily gathered in his body. The energy that entered his body went to his heart at the same time. Boom! His heart beat violently for the second time, devouring all the energy. The discomfort in Zichun's body disappeared. His body was normal. He carefully sensed his body. Everything was fine. The energy in his body was still abundant. There was no other discomfort. Zichun smiled in relief. If it wasn't for that special heart, he would have been completely finished this time. The light of energy in the surroundings disappeared. Zichun looked in front of him, but it was empty. There was nothing there. He tried to dig a few times, but he still found nothing. There were no martial crystals here. The energy from the martial crystals earlier might just be a coincidence. Because when Zichun found the killing crystals, not all places with killing intent would have killing crystals. After searching carefully for a while, Zichun still could not find anything. He could only helplessly walk out. The sky gradually darkened. The crowd still did not wait for Zichun to come out. Luo Xia smiled proudly. "Don't wait anymore. That guy doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. He must have died inside. When everyone heard this, they all felt very regretful. After all, many of them were indebted to Ziqin for taking care of them all the way here. Luo Xie turned his head and looked at the crowd. What the F*** are you all standing there for? Hurry up and clap to welcome him. Miao Pengfei's eyes flickered coldly. Hu Jin pulled him back and signaled him not to be impulsive. The people who came with Luo Xie began to clap unwillingly. Luo Xie tilted his head and said not loud enough, "Where's your enthusiasm?" The crowd had no choice but to continue clapping. Luo Xie looked at the other people beside him. These people would leave with him tomorrow morning. What about you guys? Don't you have ears? Facing this new lord, everyone could only applaud. The person in charge of this place, who was at the second strength realm, saw all of this. Although he did not know what grudges the two had, he felt that it was very interesting. Luo Xie raised his hand, and the crowd stopped clapping. He said directly, "Listen to me. There is no such thing as one beam of energy per day. Everyone only has 2 beams of energy per 3 days." Everyone's expression changed when they heard this. It was obvious that they were going to embezzle. Hu Zheng's eyes flashed, but he did not say anything. "What are you all standing there for?" Luo Xie looked at the people in the 1 strength realm and said, "Hurry up and return the extra energy you took from before. Also, those who have smuggled it, return it double." During this period, because Luo Xie did not embezzle their energy, everyone had some stockpiled in case they needed it. Especially those who followed Ziqin's team and worked together to kill the law-breaking beast. They had accumulated some energy. Now, Luo Xie was actually targeting them. For a moment, everyone's eyes were filled with anger. "What? Are you all thinking of rebelling? Let me tell you, without my permission, do you think you have the chance to kill the law-breaking beast?" Luo Xie said unhappily, "You're lucky that I didn't ask you to take out all your gains. Hurry up." Everyone was angry, but no one dared to resist, because the result of resisting would be death. "Hurry up and take out your energy. Those who disobey will be killed, without mercy." Luo Xie's eyes were filled with cold, murderous intent. The leader who was in charge of this place looked at this scene mockingly. Such a scene was too common. If they could not embezzle some of the profits, what was the point of them being the leader? When Ziqin walked out with a torch, he saw everyone gathered around Luo Xie. He did not know what they were doing. Ziqin walked forward. Along the way, people saw Ziqin and their expressions changed. However, their expressions soon became extremely excited. "Sir! Sir!" For a moment, everyone bowed to him. "It's useless to shout. Hurry up and take out your energy," Luo Xie said without turning his head. "Damn it! Why don't you all take a piss and look in the mirror? Who do you think you are? How dare you take my energy?" "Humph! That bastard, Ziqin died quickly. Otherwise, I would have killed him too." "What are you doing?" A voice sounded from behind Luo Xie. "Are you King blind? Can't you see me?" Luo Xie turned his head and glared angrily at the newcomer. However, when he saw Ziqin's appearance clearly, it was as if he had seen a ghost. He immediately swallowed the rest of his words and subconsciously bowed. "Sir, why have you returned?" Ziqin glanced at Luo Xie and then looked at the others. "What the hell is going on? What are you doing?" "Nothing. I played a little joke with them." Luo Xie immediately said, "It's just a very, very small joke to test their loyalty." After saying that, Luo Xie immediately turned around and said, "You all performed well and passed the test. Now, take back your energy, and everyone will be rewarded with 1 more." As he spoke, Luo Xie quickly took out the energy that he had taken away earlier and took out some more. In the distance, everyone looked at Luo Xie with infinite contempt. After seeing Ziqin, the other party's arrogance from before completely vanished. The person in charge of the number 1 mine had a curious look in his eyes. The lawless Luo Xie seemed to be particularly afraid of this person. "Sir, you're out. What about Wu Jingshi?" Luo Xie changed the topic while distributing the energy. "After going in, I didn't find anything," Zichen said lightly. Luo Xie said, "That Wu Jingshi is extremely precious. It's normal that you didn't find it. Don't be depressed." Zichen couldn't be bothered with him and walked back. The energy that belonged to everyone was distributed, and at the same time, each person was given an extra energy. This loss made Luo Xie very depressed, but he did not dare to say anything. Early the next morning, everyone continued to lead the team back. Along the way, with Zichen following, Luo Xie did not dare to take advantage of everyone until they returned to the station. Chapter 5030. Luo Xie was very active. He didn't even rest when he returned and immediately came to report. Along the way, he had endured Zichen for too long. He had never been so wronged before. If he didn't do something, he felt like his body would explode. The attraction of Wu Jingshi was great. The shaman walked out of the room. "Are you sure it's Wu Jingshi?" "Very sure." Luo Xie was full of confidence. "Zichen must have hidden one. Tell me in detail. Don't miss any details." The shaman's eyes flashed. Luo Xie described the situation in detail. Naturally, he couldn't help but add some details. He must have gotten the Wu Jingshi to be able to come out alive. There's no doubt about that. "Sir, quickly bring people to kill him. He's probably going to run away. If Zichen runs away, the Wu Jingshi will be gone." Luo Xie said anxiously, "Sir, quickly send people to kill him." The shaman waved his hand and said, "I know. You can leave first." "I'll leave?" Luo Xie was stunned. "Sir, why don't you just kill Zichen? I have my own considerations." Seeing that the shaman was deep in thought, Luo Xie didn't dare to say more. He could only leave unwillingly. After Luo Xie left, Crew walked out from behind. "What do you think?" The shaman didn't turn his head. "If Zichen wanted to run away, he wouldn't have come back." Crew said, "I mean, what do you think of this matter?" The shaman asked again. "Wu Jingshi is extremely rare. Only a few have appeared in so many years. If he really got it, then he's too lucky." But Crew said, "We shouldn't just listen to one side of the story. Maybe it's better to ask outside." "Then you go and take a look." "Okay." In Zichen's room, Miao Pengfei looked at Zichen. "You got the Wu Jingshi?" Zichen asked in surprise. "Why do you ask?" Miao Pengfei said, "If it were someone else, I wouldn't believe it. But that person is you. I think you still have the ability." Along the way, Zichen had given Miao Pengfei too many surprises, so he had a blind confidence in Zichen. Zichen smiled bitterly and said, "Sorry to disappoint you. After I went in, I didn't see Wu Jingshi." Thinking back to that scene, Zichen said, "If there really is a martial crystal stone, maybe I can really get it." When Miao Pengfei heard this, a look of disappointment immediately appeared on his face. "If that's the case, let's hurry up and run." "Why are you running?" Zichen was puzzled. "You've offended Luo Xie, so he's definitely going to complain to Shaman. If we don't run now, are we going to wait for Shaman to bring people to kill us?" Miao Pengfei said, "They're on the same side. There's no rush. Let's wait and see. I don't think that Shaman is that unreasonable." Asterisk, 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 asterisk. While Zichen and Miao Pengfei were in the room, Cruz ordered people to come here and find some people to ask about what happened. The result surprised him greatly, so he brought the news back and told Shaman. "In that case, Zichen really didn't get the martial crystal stone," Shaman said faintly. Cruz said, "If it were me, I definitely wouldn't come out after getting the martial crystal stone. Instead, I would directly refine it inside. Even if I came out, I wouldn't come back with the team." Finding a suitable place to break through to the third strength realm is obviously the safest way. Shaman glanced at Cruz and motioned for him to continue. Cruz said, "It's obvious that Luo Xia wants to use this matter to get rid of Zichen. However, regarding this matter, I agree with Zichen's approach. Even if he embezzles the energy, he should still consider the lives of others. Since the last time Luo Xia's team was wiped out, Luo Xia began to lead people through the number 1 mine. All this time, he had not reported the deaths of anyone. It was obvious that these people were dead, but the resources were still given. It could even be said that when these dead people reached the mine, they were still given the resources according to the number of living people. It was equivalent to some dead people still receiving energy every day." Shaman's fingers gently tapped on the table. In fact, he was very clear about this matter, but he did not expect Luo Xia to go so far. "Let's keep an eye on Zichen and see if there are any abnormalities. What about the grudge between Luo Xia and Zichen? Ignore it for now." After Cruz left, Shaman fell into deep thought. In fact, Gavin had come many times to ask for Luo Xia. If Zichen could get the killing crystal, then there was a high possibility that he could get the martial crystal stone. At the very least, he could give it a try. He was very unwilling to let him go just like that. "Lord Shaman, have you been busy recently?" Suddenly, laughter came from outside the door. Shaman's expression changed slightly, and he immediately walked out of the room. Then he saw Gavin. He actually came in person. At the same time, there were 3 people standing next to Gavin. 3 fourth strength realms. Shaman's pupils shrank, and he hurriedly bowed. "Greetings, lords. Shaman, how dare you do this? You won't even give him to us?" A man carrying a long stick glanced at Shaman from the corner of his eyes. "Lord, you've misunderstood. Zichen went out on a mission a few days ago. I could only wait for him to come back," Shaman quickly explained. "Where is he now?" The man asked again. "Lord, you've come at the right time. Zichen just came back a few hours ago. I was going to look for him after finishing my work. I didn't expect you to come." Gavin glanced at Shaman with disdain in his eyes. Gavin obviously didn't believe a single word he said. "Lead the way." "Lord, please follow me." Shaman immediately walked forward and exchanged glances with Gavin. Gavin smiled disdainfully. Leading them to Zichen's residence, Shaman shouted, "Zichen, come out quickly. See who's here." Zichen walked out of his room. He saw familiar faces. The 2 4-strength realm martial artists who took away his killing crystal and wanted to kill him. Gavin, who was in the 3rd strength realm, and a man with a long stick that he had never seen before. "Zichen greets you, lords." Zichen immediately saluted them. Gavin didn't say anything and stepped forward to kick him. Bam! Zichen's body flew backward and smashed into the wooden house behind him. "You're tough. You ran away without saying a word. You made it hard for me to find you." Gavin quickly stepped forward and stomped on Zichen. "Aren't you capable? Why don't you continue running?" Bam! Bam! Gavin's big feet kept landing on Zichen's body, causing energy to vibrate. Of course, he wouldn't kill Zichen. He just wanted to humiliate him. "Didn't you want to kill me? Come on, I'm already here. Do it if you can." The commotion attracted the attention of many people. Most of them were Zichen's subordinates. When they saw this scene, their expressions changed. Miao Pengfei also came. When he saw Gavin, he immediately hid in the distance and didn't dare to approach. Gavin kicked Zichen in front of everyone. "Ungrateful dog. If I didn't take you in, you'd be dead. Now that you've grown up, you dare to rebel." Chapter 5031. Gavin stepped forward and beat him up without saying a word. He cursed as he beat him up. Zichen covered his head with his hands and did not resist. He was at the mercy of the other party. The others watched in silence with complicated expressions, especially Zichen's subordinates. Although Chen had only been their boss for a short period of time. They had a good impression of this boss who never embezzled resources. Hu Jing also came. He was watching from afar and was very surprised. Hee, looks like I'm not late. Luo Xia also heard the news and came. When he saw Chen being trampled and humiliated, he laughed and said, "Evil people will be punished by evil people. This guy got his retribution." You were too gentle. Couldn't you have just cut off his arms? Or cut off his limbs? Wouldn't that have been better? The shaman stood aside and did not speak. He looked at the three people beside him from time to time. The three people in the fourth strength state looked at him mockingly, as if they were waiting for a good show. All the more, he could not say anything. "Damn it, you're too tough. I'm tired of beating you up." Gavin kicked him again. After venting his anger, he walked back. Chen was still lying on the ground with his hands covering his head. "Are you pretending to be dead? Get over here and greet the masters," Gavin said sternly. Chen had no choice but to stand up and salute them once more. The shaman looked at Chen and did not know what to say. His expression was complicated, but there was no contempt in his eyes, because in this situation, resistance would only lead to death. "Do you know why we're looking for you?" The man with the baton looked at Chen. "I don't know," Chen replied. Gavin kicked Chen to the ground again. "When you answer a question, you have to add the word villain." Chen stood up again. "I don't know. You made us look for you. Of course, we have to teach you a lesson." The man with the baton sneered. "You deserve it, don't you know?" Chen said, "I had no choice. That day, after the two of you took away the basket of kill crystals, I was hunted down. If I didn't run, I would have died." The shaman's eyes flashed. There was actually a basket of kill crystals. He quietly looked at the two people beside him, taking away a basket of kill crystals and then silencing them. Although this method was a bit like killing a chicken to get the eggs, this way the kill crystals in their hands would be even more valuable. Because if he missed this opportunity, there would be no more opportunities in the future. The man with the long stick glanced at the two people beside him. Gavin kicked him again. "How dare you? You were the one who ran away. How dare you accuse the two lords?" Chen rolled on the ground again. After getting up, he said, "Yes, I ran on my own. The others just persuaded me not to run." Gavin stepped forward and prepared to kick again. The man with the baton glanced at Gavin. Gavin smiled awkwardly. "I'm used to it. Sir, please don't blame me. I don't know why, but when I see this guy, I feel like kicking him. Follow me back to find the killing crystals." The man with the stick said, "Find the killing crystal, and I'll spare your life." "Yes." Chen nodded immediately. Before leaving, Chen bowed to the shaman again. "Thank you for taking care of me all this time." The shaman nodded and said, "You're welcome. Take care." Gavin saw this and became even angrier. He was clearly the Lord. If the man with the baton was not standing there, he would have killed Chen immediately. Letting such a person live was obviously a scourge. However, if he killed Chen now, he would not be able to live either. Using his own life in exchange for Chen's worthless life, no matter how he looked at it, it was not worth it. "I'll kill you when you're no longer of any use." Gavin had made up his mind. During this time, Chen saw Miao Pengfei. He used his eyes to signal the other party to quickly hide and not let Gavin see him. Gavin did not dare to kill him, but he dared to kill Miao Pengfei. When he walked past Hu Zheng, he nodded at him. Hu Zheng nodded in response. After this farewell, they might not see each other again. "Hey, some people are finally going to get lost." Luo Xia's laughter rang out as he gloated. "What a guy! Living in this world is simply a waste of energy." Gavin heard this and said disdainfully, "It seems that you're not welcome wherever you go. If I were as disliked as you are, I would have killed myself." Chen glanced at Luo Xia. Luo Xia glared at Chen. "What are you looking at? Do you believe that I'll gouge your eyes out? Why don't you take a look at yourself? Luo Xia was confident that Zi-chan would not dare to make a move at this time, so he was not afraid. "You're still looking? Do you want to die?" Luo Xia's eyes flashed coldly. With 3 masters in the 4th strength state, he did not believe that Zi-chan would dare to make a move at this time. Moreover, the other party would leave soon, and they might not see each other for the rest of their lives. This was his only chance for revenge. "Why don't you take a look at yourself? How dare you tell me what to do?" Luo Xia scolded, while the other 3 masters in the 4th strength state laughed mockingly. They felt that Zi-chan needed to be humiliated and beaten up like this. Otherwise, he would lose control. The other party was so bold that he killed a spellbreaker. "You still dare to look? Do you believe that I'll blind your eyes?" Luo Xia stretched out 2 fingers and made a provocative gesture towards Zi-chan. Zi-chan looked at Luo Xia coldly, and killing intent appeared in his eyes. "You still want to kill me? Come on, I'll put my head here. Do you dare to kill me?" Luo Xia stretched his neck and gestured with his hand. "Come on, let me see your strength. Let's see how you're going to kill me." Zi-chan smiled coldly. "You really don't know what's good for you. Can't you live properly? Cut the crap. Come here if you can." Luo Xia was still provoking. Zi-chan's figure flashed and appeared in front of Luo Xia. Before anyone could react, he reached out and grabbed Luo Xia's head. In the next moment, a light of energy appeared in front of him. It was like a net of laws that swept across Luo Xia's body. Buzz! Luo Xia's body disintegrated, leaving only his head in Zi-chan's hand. This scene was beyond everyone's expectations. No one thought that Zi-chan would really dare to make a move. He dared to make a move in front of the masters. Was he not afraid of death? Luo Xia also reacted. However, he had completely lost control of his body. He could even see his entire body turning into a stream of light and disappearing. Deep fear appeared in his eyes. There was also deep regret. Unfortunately, it was too late. Zi-chan looked at him and said indifferently, "Why do you want to die?" As soon as he finished speaking, Luo Xia's head disappeared. The surrounding people were shocked. Previously, they also thought that Zi-chan would not dare to make a move. However, no one was too emotional about Luo Xia's death. He did not have the strength and dared to provoke others. He deserved to die. But now, everyone was looking at Zi-chan and the 3 masters of the 4th strength state. How would they deal with Zi-chan's audacity? There's no more show to watch. Let's go. Chapter 5032. Luo Xia's death was his own fault. Zi-chan didn't dare to do anything to Jiawen because of his special status. He was a big shot and couldn't be killed easily. But Luo Xia was nothing to him. For the killing crystal, those people wouldn't say anything. So, after killing Luo Xia, the man with the sword felt bored and started to return, leaving behind the dumbfounded crowd. After seeing this scene, Gavin's expression became solemn. Imagine if Zi-chan killed him, how would those people react? They would probably pretend not to see it for the killing crystal. This made Jiawen even more determined to kill Zi-chan. As long as there was a chance, he would kill him. Otherwise, one day, when Zi-chan was strong enough to kill him, it would be too late for regrets. After returning, they didn't stay for long and walked back to the mine. Zi-chan walked on the road in silence. Through the conversation, he knew the name of the man with the sword, Eddie. The remaining 2 were named Todd and Han Lu. They were the ones who had taken away his killing crystals. Jiawen still followed them. At night, Jiawen urged Zi-chan to pick up firewood. They sat around the bonfire. During this time, Zi-chan looked around as if he was looking for something. They didn't care, thinking that Zi-chan was looking for the law beasts. This night, there was nothing unusual, not even law-breaking beasts. Zi-chan symbolically took out energy to refine. After all, his realm was the weakest among them. The other 3 didn't consume much energy. The next day, they continued their journey. During this time, Eddie and the other two talked and laughed. Through their conversation, Zi-Chun learned something about Dharma Breaking City. It was said that there was a complete place for refining weapons. For example, the murderous intent of the killing crystal had to be converted in Dharma Breaking City before it could be injected into weapons. On this night, spell-breaking beasts appeared, but before Zi-Chun could make a move, Eddie wielded his wooden saber and slashed at them. Waves of murderous intent lingered. The wooden sword was as sharp as a divine weapon, easily cutting the law-breaking beast's body. It seemed that because its realm was too high, the law-breaking beast didn't leave any energy after it died. Eddie was just testing his saber. Zi-Chen's eyes were still scanning the surroundings. Suddenly, his expression changed slightly as a shadow appeared in front of him. It was the annihilating shadow beast. But whether it was Eddie, Todd, or Conlu, none of them reacted. The three of them could not see the vanishing shadow beast. As for Gavin, he just stood there stupidly. After Eddie put away his saber, he walked over with a smug expression on his face. Zi-Chen's pupils shrank, and his expression changed again. The annihilating shadow beast was behind Eddie. There was still no response from the other party. The vanishing shadow beast opened its mouth and inhaled. Eddie's soul shadow began to tremble as if it was trying to be pulled out of his body. Both parties seemed to be engaged in a tug-of-war. Eddie felt dizzy and his expression changed drastically. He slashed the long saber in his hand horizontally with killing intent gushing out. Chi! Under Zi-Chen's gaze, Eddie's long knife swept past the annihilation shadow beast's body. However, it was as if they were separated by two different dimensions. What happened? Seeing this, Todd and Conlu stood up one after another. The two of them sensed that something was wrong with Eddie. I was attacked. It should be the annihilation shadow beast, Eddie said with lingering fear. The annihilation shadow beast. The two of them were shocked and immediately looked to both sides. Gavin was also shocked. He quickly stood up and deliberately moved closer to the three of them. Zi-Chen stayed by the bonfire and didn't move because the annihilation shadow beast had already retreated. Zi-Chen had always been puzzled by his situation. Why could he see the annihilation shadow beast? It would be normal if he saw it with his immortal spiritual eye, but he obviously didn't use it. You're so careless. Gavin looked at Zi-Chen's nonchalant expression and snorted in dissatisfaction. The other three also looked at Zi-Chen. They were all very nervous, but Zi-Chen's expression was very calm. As if he sensed their suspicious gazes, Zi-Chen explained, I've seen others killed by the annihilation shadow beast. They didn't notice it in advance and didn't feel any pain. Furthermore, the annihilation shadow beast is invisible and hard to defend against. Instead of scaring yourself, it's better to rely on luck. This straightforward explanation left Gavin speechless. Eddie said, childish, Do you really think that the annihilation shadow beast is invisible? Zi-Chen pretended to be confused and looked at Eddie. Eddie continued, That's because you can't see it. You actually think that it doesn't exist. Your thinking is ridiculous. The three of them sat by the bonfire again. Gavin said curiously, Sir, the two spellbreakers who came last time didn't seem to see the annihilation shadow beast either. Gavin was sitting in the middle of the three of them. Evidently, he wanted the three of them to protect him. Of course they can't see it. They're just in the fourth strength realm. Even if they have a bit of soul power, they can't see the annihilation shadow beast. Eddie laughed sarcastically and said they can only see it when they're in the fifth strength realm. However, those in the fourth strength realm can already sense the annihilation shadow beast. Soul power? What's that? Gavin asked curiously. Zi-Chen also looked at Eddie. In this world, this term was relatively unfamiliar. It's something awakened by some lucky aborigines, but they're a bunch of ignorant people, Eddie said sarcastically. Last time, if it were anyone else, they would have known that there were killing crystals in the veins. Only those lawbreakers were so arrogant, but they didn't know anything. With that, he glanced at Zichen. This guy was also a weirdo. The killing crystals were so precious, but they were used as consumables. Such a waste of God's gift should be struck by lightning. Eddie then changed the topic. Because Zichen didn't have the right to speak, he just listened quietly. He didn't cultivate for fear of exposing himself. He just refined the energy along the way. In the next few nights, they were attacked by a group of spellbreakers, but they were all easily killed by Eddie. Zichen didn't fight, and no one paid Zichen anything. They all treated him like he didn't exist. Sometimes Gavin would also punch and kick him. Finally, they arrived at the mine. Unlike last time, there were many people gathered here. Following Zichen's appearance, an ice-cold gaze immediately landed on him. He followed the gaze and saw that it was the woman from last time. She was a 4th strength realm spellbreaker. She could sense the existence of the spellbreakers. She was also here. This made Zichen stunned. He was very surprised. When the woman saw Zichen, her eyes immediately flashed with anger. She immediately flew over. Zichen wanted to escape, but Todd and Kan Lu stood behind him, one on the left and one on the right. The woman approached and waved the whip in her hand. Slap! The whip landed on Zichen's cheek. The huge force sent Zichen flying. The commotion was not small. Everyone raised their heads and looked in their direction. The woman waved the whip and kept whipping Zichen. She didn't speak, and Zichen didn't wail. Only the sound of the whip could be heard. You're really asking for a beating. You get beaten up wherever you go. Gavin saw this and smiled disdainfully. Zichen was like a mouse. People beat him up wherever he went. However, it was understandable. Last time, Zichen schemed against the two of them and scared them away. What kind of humiliation was that? Chapter 5033. The others looked over and saw the misophobic lawbreaker whipping Zichen, who was at the 2nd strength realm. Many of them knew Zichen, and some of them had even participated in the operation to kill Zichen. Didn't Zichen run away? Why did he come back? The woman fought until Zichen's chi was exhausted before she stopped. Zichen immediately got up and took out some energy to refine. He didn't resist, so he was injured. You're really thick-skinned. Seeing this, Gavin stepped forward and kicked Zichen, knocking Zichen over again. Eddie, Todd, and Kan Lu, on the other hand, stood at the side and laughed. Earlier, when Zichen wanted to run, it was Todd and Han Lu who blocked the way. If he didn't get beaten up and let the Magi Breaker vent her anger, it would be difficult for him to succeed. In their opinion, after punching and kicking Zichen from time to time, they believed that Zichen must have learned his lesson. Zichen got up again and continued to refine the energy. The woman was so angry that she raised her whip, but when she saw Zichen's weak aura, she put it down. She didn't feel sorry for him, but if she killed him, there would be no point for her to come here. Gavin wanted to kick him again, but when he saw that the Magi Breaker didn't attack again, he didn't dare to. Did you find anything? Eddie looked at the Magi Breaker. The Magi Breaker shook her head. Many people died, but I didn't find anything. Looks like we can only let him go in. Eddie glanced at Zichen. The killing crystal was too precious, so it couldn't be lost. This was also why they wanted to bring Zichen back and humiliate him. They needed someone who would listen to them. After Zichen fully recovered, the woman raised her whip again. Eddie said, "Let him go in first." The Magi Breaker snorted. "You go in now." Eddie looked at Zichen and said indifferently. Zichen glanced at Gavin. "Let's go together. We can take care of each other." Gavin's expression changed drastically, and a hint of fear appeared in his eyes. Even those in the 4th strength state would not dare to enter that place. If he went in, he would definitely die. It was obvious that Zichen wanted to kill him. "You go in by yourself." Eddie's voice was cold. Of course, he would not agree. No matter how useless Gavin was, he was still a manager, and naturally could not die. Zichen turned around and walked into the mine. The female spellbreaker suddenly said, "Wait, we are indeed worried about you going in alone. Bring some people with you." She waved her hand and said, "Bring these 10 people in." The faces of the 10 second strength realms that were marked changed greatly. One of them immediately said with a sad face, "Sir, we can't do that. We don't have that ability. Only death awaits us if we go in." "Follow him and you won't die," Eddie said. It was a good suggestion. The female spellbreaker looked disgusted. Naturally, she would not reply. The 10 of them looked at Zichen with indescribable complexity in their eyes. Zichen walked forward. The 10 of them could only follow, looking dejected. Walking to the entrance of the cave, Zichen picked up a piece of firewood and used it as a torch. The others followed suit and followed Zichen. Entering the mine, Zichen was actually very familiar with this place. It was a walk in the park for him. After going in for a while, Zichen turned around and looked at these people. "If you don't want to die here, stay here and wait." Everyone quickly nodded. They obviously did not dare to go in deeper. Zichen went in alone. The others heaved a sigh of relief. As long as they did not explore, it would be fine. After a while, a second strength state suddenly said, "We've been tricked." Everyone else was stunned. He must have a big secret to be able to find the kill crystal. He didn't let us follow because he was worried that we would discover his secret. The second strength state said he's not worried about our lives at all. He's just afraid of exposing his secret. He's afraid that once we know his secret, he'll lose his advantage. It can't be, right? That killing intent is so terrifying. Who would dare to go near? One of them said, "Henry, you're overthinking it. That Zichen has no grudge against us. He just doesn't want us to die." "You're really stupid. You also said that we have no grudge against him. Then why would he save us?" Henry pointed at the crowd and said, "You idiots are really stupid." After saying that, the other party immediately turned back and went to Eddie to tell on him. After hearing Henry's words, Eddie also looked suspicious. He looked at the others. "What do you think?" Todd said, "Maybe it's really possible." Hanlu nodded. "Zichen can even trick a 4th strength state spellbreaker to death. Naturally, he's not a kind person. He's doing this because he doesn't want his secret to be discovered." Henry said Sir is wise. "He's so cautious. He must know that the secret can be shared. Once we find out, he'll lose his advantage." Henry was full of confidence. "That's the only way to explain why he wants us to stay." Eddie took out 5 strands of energy and threw them to Henry. "Well done. Now go back and wait. When he comes out, you must follow him." "Sir, don't worry." Henry turned back again. The others were waiting here. When they saw the happy Henry return, they all asked about the situation. Henry took out 5 strands of energy and said proudly, "Sir also believes that Zichen has evil intentions, so he gave me these strands of energy as a reward. Now we just need to follow Zichen. When we discover the secret to obtaining the kill crystal, we'll naturally have endless benefits." When the others heard this, they were all very excited. However, there were still a few people who were skeptical. After half a day, Zichen walked back and glanced at the crowd. Henry said, "Where's the kill crystal you found?" Zichen glanced at him. "How can the kill crystal be so easy to find? It's good enough that you're still alive." After saying this, he walked out. The others followed behind him. "From tomorrow onwards, we'll follow you. Wherever you go, we'll follow. Don't think of shaking us off," Henry continued. Zichen was stunned. He turned around and looked at Henry. "This is Sir's idea. If you have any objections, you can go to Sir." Henry looked straight at Zichen. "I have no objections." "I'm sure you have no objections." Henry sneered. After Zichen returned, he told Henry that he had found nothing. This kind of thing was based on luck, so they weren't in a hurry. The next day, Zichen entered the mine again. This time, The 10 people followed him. After entering the mine, Zichen led them down. 2 of them looked at each other and asked, "Can we continue to stay here?" Zichen turned around and glanced at the 2 of them. He was a little surprised. "Can we stay here?" they asked again. There was hope in their eyes. Obviously, they believed in Zichen, so they didn't dare to go too deep. Zichen nodded. Henry smiled disdainfully at the 2 of them. "You're destined to be mediocre for the rest of your lives." Zichen didn't say much. He led them forward with familiarity. Chapter 5034. Henry followed behind Zichen. He seemed to have become the leader of this small team. The others followed behind. Everyone had the same goal, which was to find Zichen's secret and then have a greater say. As for Zichen's life and death after finding the secret, they did not care. Zichen held a torch and was familiar with the way. After yesterday's exploration, he had already made some discoveries. He originally planned to go and take a look today, but he did not expect to attract so many people. It seemed that he could not be so kind. These people were not worth it. Zichen suddenly laughed. "What are you laughing at?" Henry asked. "What's so happy that you want to share?" Zichen said, "I'm laughing. After all, you used to be a big shot, but now you're reduced to this." This was Zichen's heartfelt sigh. After all, he was the lord of a world. Although he did not dare to say that he was followed everywhere, he was still a big shot. Now he was reduced to this. He wondered what Monk and the others would think when they found out. "You're a big shot." Henry curled his lips and said disdainfully, "No matter what you used to be, in this place you're nothing." Zichen suddenly stopped. "What are you doing?" Henry looked at Zichen and said coldly, "Don't play tricks." Zichen continued forward. He had already felt the killing intent in front of him. He had subconsciously stopped just now to warn the others, but in the end he gave up. Zichen walked into the mine and was met with a murderous aura. Henry and the others followed behind and almost bumped into the killing intent. Puff! 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 The killing intent immediately passed through their bodies, leaving big holes one after another. At this moment, they were stunned and did not react at all. By the time they noticed the abnormality, it was already too late. Zichen stood in front, motionless. All the killing intent near him disappeared on its own. The remaining murderous intent bypassed Zichen and charged toward the others. Screams continuously sounded. Zichen turned around and quietly looked at them struggling. "Save me! Zichen, save me!" 3 big holes appeared on Hanel's body. He cried for help in horror. There was energy in both his hands, but it was useless. "My original intention was to let you live, but you chose to die." Zichen looked at them and sighed helplessly. In the face of such killing intent, even a 4th strength realm lawbreaker would die, let alone a 2nd strength realm cultivator. Zichen stood there and watched silently as the blood-curdling screams continued, until the last one disappeared. Shwa! The slaughter spirit appeared and devoured all the killing intent in this place. Zichen turned around and walked into the mine. There were killing crystals here, but after sorting them out, there were only 3 pieces. Zichen placed the 3 kill crystals aside and began to cultivate. He didn't have the opportunity to do so outside, but now that he was in this place, there was no one to disturb him. After the energy of the martial crystals was absorbed by his heart last time, Zichen clearly felt that his heart was beating faster, and every once in a while, a wisp of energy would enter his body. This energy could strengthen his strength. This was the key to Zichen's breakthrough. After a day, Zichen hid the 2 killing crystals, took one out, and walked outside. At the entrance, he saw the 2 people sitting against the wall. When the 2 saw Zichen, they immediately stood up and looked behind Zichen. "Where are they?" One of them asked softly. "Dead," Zichen said indifferently. When encountering killing intent, even 10 lives won't be enough. Zichen walked forward, and the 2 followed behind. They looked at each other and saw a hint of relief in each other's eyes. The 8 people were dead, and they obviously didn't care about the 2 of them. No matter how the 8 people died, the 2 of them made the right choice. Ziyi-Chin walked out of the cave and saw many people gathered around. The sky was already dark, and the torches were burning. Eddie heard the commotion and came over. When he saw Ziyi-Chin and the others, he was stunned. "Where are the others?" "Dead," Ziyi-Chin replied. "Did you find anything?" Eddie didn't ask about the cause of death. Ziyi-Chin took out a kill crystal. "I only found this one." Eddie's eyes lit up, and he immediately reached out to take it. He held the kill crystal in his hand and looked at it carefully. Ziyi-Chin turned and walked away. Eddie didn't stop him. The 2 of them didn't leave. After Ziyi-Chin returned, Eddie began to ask the 2 of them what they encountered. The 2 of them answered truthfully and didn't lie. After Eddie heard this, he frowned. He waved his hand gently, and the 2 of them quickly bowed and left. Todd and Han Lu walked over. The 2 of them had heard the conversation. Han Lu asked, "Can they be trusted?" Eddie sneered. They wouldn't dare to lie even if they had more guts. Could it be that Ziyi-Chin is the only one who can get that kill crystal? Todd was a little unwilling to accept this. Eddie glanced at him as if he was looking at an idiot. If everyone could get it, kill crystals would be everywhere. Look at this. Is this something an ordinary person can get their hands on? Eddie tossed the kill crystal to him. "What about tomorrow?" Todd asked again. "Let Ziyi-Chin go in alone." Obviously, under such circumstances, no matter how many people they send in, they would be courting death. That night, Ziyi-Chin stayed in his room to cultivate. During this time, he was constantly refining the energy. Early the next morning, still no one came to pay him. Ziyi-Chin didn't ask for it either. However, before he could enter the mine, the female spell breaker appeared again. She held a long whip in her hand and hit Ziyi-Chin again. She said that she was teaching Ziyi-Chin how to behave. Ziyi-Chin didn't resist. He walked into the mine with his injured body. No one was following him anymore. He could move freely. For most of the day, Ziyi-Chin stayed in the mine and cultivated. He spent the rest of the time looking for kill crystals. For the next 3 days, Ziyi-Chin didn't find anything. On the 4th day, the female spellbreaker vented her anger on Ziyi-Chin again. Eddie and the others didn't look too good either. They even threatened Ziyi-Chin that if he still couldn't find kill crystals, he would die. Gavin took the opportunity to kick Ziyi-Chin to the ground. On this day, Ziyi-Chin found more than 20 kill crystals. However, he only took one out. In the next few days, Ziyi-Chin would take out 1 kill crystal every once in a while. Sometimes he would take out 2 kill crystals. The number of kill crystals he had hoarded was also increasing. His purpose for hoarding kill crystals was very simple. It was to kill. He wanted to kill all 4 of them in one fell swoop. Time passed. A month had passed. Ziyi-Chin took out 8 kill crystals. This made them very happy. However, they were still not satisfied. They urged Ziyi-Chin to speed up. Otherwise, they would kill him. They were constantly threatening Ziyi-Chin with their lives. Ziyi-Chin entered the mine again. When he arrived, he found 3 baskets and began to fill them with kill crystals. He filled 3 baskets. After that, Ziyi-Chin walked out with 1 in each hand and 1 on his back. Chapter 5035. There was a limit to a person's patience after all. Ziyi-Chin lamented many times. He used to be an overlord, but he was reduced to such a state. During this period of time, he had become a punching bag. Those who were in the 4th strength realm would vent their anger on him whenever they were in a bad mood, especially that female spellbreaker. Not only did she snatch his whip, but she also attacked him repeatedly. Ziyi-Chin was never one to take things lying down. From the beginning, he wanted to fight back. He thought he could break through earlier, but the difficulty of advancing to the 3rd strength realm was beyond his imagination. Therefore, he did not wait any longer. He gathered enough kill crystals and fought back. Although the fourth strength realm was scary, it was not to the point where he could ignore killing intent. Every time Eddie took the kill crystals from him, he was very careful. There were many people guarding here, but no one came in. Everyone was waiting for him to find the kill crystals. On this day, Zi Chen came out with enough kill crystals. At the entrance of the cave, everyone was shocked when they saw this. After so long, many people already knew that the kill crystals were really good stuff. Each piece was priceless. Now that they suddenly saw so many kill crystals, their eyes were wide open. How long had he been in there? And he had already gained so much. A few of them wanted to go forward. However, when they saw Zi Chen, they suddenly stopped. That was because there was something wrong with Zi Chen today. His eyes were shining, and his body was filled with confidence. This was completely different from the dispirited look he had before. Moreover, in their perception, the current Zi Chen seemed to be full of danger. You gained something again? Eddie immediately walked forward. That's right, and there are quite a few. Zi Chen put the baskets in his left and right hands on the ground. Seeing this, Eddie's eyes immediately lit up. Even his breathing quickened. There are so many. There were 3 baskets of kill crystals, which could be close to 1,000. If this was brought to Spellbreaker City, it would definitely cause a huge commotion. At this moment, Zi Chen took out 2 pieces and said with a smile, "Sir, please continue to examine them." He tossed the 2 kill crystals out. "Be careful. Can you bear the responsibility if they break? Even if I kill you, I won't be able to pay for it." Eddie immediately looked unhappy and reached out to grab the killing crystal. Pa! Pa! The killing crystal suddenly exploded in front of him. The killing intent contained within it immediately appeared and rushed toward Eddie. Such an unforeseen event caused Eddie's expression to change greatly, and he immediately retreated. At the same time, the wooden saber in his hand slashed out horizontally. The wooden saber glowed, and a murderous intent surged out from it, clashing with the murderous intent of the killing crystal. "Can't you be more careful?" Eddie roared. He could still withstand the energy of 2 killing crystals. At this moment, his vision blurred as he saw a dozen killing crystals flying towards him. Pa! 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 The killing crystal approached and then exploded. The murderous intent within it surged crazily and headed straight for Eddie. An uproar broke out in the surroundings, and the protectors immediately retreated. If the previous 2 fragments were just a coincidence, they could ignore it. However, the shattering of these crystals was clearly not a coincidence. Zi Chen was going to take revenge. They were only in the 2nd strength state, and facing the murderous intent would only lead to death, so they did not dare to get close. Moreover, after Zi Chen threw out the dozen killing crystals, he took out another 20. Each killing crystal was very precious, but in front of Zi Chen, they were like ordinary consumables. More than 20 killing crystals flew towards Eddie, directly aiming for his face. Pa! Pa! They exploded again. The murderous intent filled the air like a sharp sword, piercing through Eddie's body at a close distance. Even though he was in the 4th strength state, his body could not withstand the raging, murderous intent. When the crowd saw this, they were even more frightened and retreated far away. "You're courting death." Todd came and attacked Zi Chen from the side. Zi Chen sneered and said, "I think you're the one courting death." With a wave of his hand, the 20 killing crystals flew out and exploded in front of Todd's face. At the same time, Zi Chen waved his hand again, and another dozen killing crystals flew behind him and exploded. Han Lu quietly followed and wanted to sneak an attack on him. Back then, it was Todd and Han Lu who took his basket of killing crystals. Not only did they not thank him, but they also asked Gavin to kill him. At the same time, Zi Chen looked at the woman in the distance, and a sarcastic smile flashed across his face. She came, but she did not dare to approach. Zi Chen grabbed the 20 killing crystals and threw them at her. The woman screamed and retreated. Rebellion! This is a complete rebellion! Gavin stood further away. After seeing Zi Chen, who was on the verge of madness, his face turned extremely pale. Zi Chen dared to scheme against someone in the 4th strength state, let alone Gavin. He hid in the dark and did not dare to appear again, because if he did, he would die. During this period of time, he had embarrassed Zi Chen quite a bit, and from the looks of it, Eddie was probably in a bad situation. This was because Zi Chen had thrown nearly 100 killing crystals at him, and the murderous intent within them repeatedly pierced through his body. Now, Eddie was seriously injured and could not run away even if he wanted to. That woman, the spellbreaker, was scared away once again. She was too cautious. After noticing that something was wrong, she did not dare to approach. Speaking of which, the person Zi Chen should have killed the most was that *TCH. Todd and Han Lu were already trapped by the killing crystals. It was only a matter of time before they died. Even more people were watching from afar. They watched as Zi Chen tossed out the precious kill crystals, one by one, as if they were worthless. The murderous intent swept across, and it was extremely terrifying. This time, everyone witnessed the danger in the mine with their own eyes. In the face of such a terrifying murderous intent, who could stop it? Many people had hatred in their hearts, and they secretly cursed that they deserved it. It was such a dangerous thing, but those people still wanted them to explore it. Now that they had encountered Zi Chen's revenge, it was naturally their retribution. Zi Chen was still throwing killing crystals out, and the sound of them being thrown out could be heard continuously. Help! Ah! Eddie let out a blood-curdling scream, and the murderous intent completely drowned him. After screaming, his body directly dissipated. One was dead. Then, Zi Chen turned around and looked at Todd and Han Lu. Their faces were full of horror, and they immediately retreated. "Spare us! Zi Chen, spare us!" The two began to beg for mercy. Zi Chen smiled coldly. It was impossible for him to spare their lives, so he continued to throw out killing crystals. Soon, the 2 baskets of killing crystals were gone. Zi Chen took out the killing crystals from behind him and kept throwing them at the 2. Nothing unexpected happened. The 2 screamed in succession, and their bodies could not take it anymore. They turned into light and dissipated. 3 4th strength realm cultivators were all dead. Zi Chen walked forward and came to the place where Eddie disappeared and took away his wooden sword. This wooden sword had been refined with killing crystals, so its grade was not low. Zi Chen waved it around a few times, and it was very handy in his hands. Then he looked around. Wherever he passed, the people around him changed and did not dare to look at him. Where's that bitch? Chapter 5036. Thunder Marshall is not updated today. Please wait for a moment. After the content is updated, please refresh the page to get the latest update. Chapter 5037. Eddie and the other 2 had been killed by Zi Chen. Next would be the female spellbreaker. At this stage, Zi Chen did not need to be respectful to her. Everyone's expression changed when they heard him call her *TCH. The others looked around but could not find that woman. She had already run away when she saw that the situation was not good. That *TCH fits her personality. Zi Chen's expression was cold as he looked around. He did not know where that *TCH had run off to. It was difficult to find her. "Where's Gavin?" Zi Chen shouted, "Come out and see me." Gavin hid and did not dare to show himself. "Come out. Aren't you very capable?" Zi Chen's voice was cold. "I don't need these kill crystals. Do you dare to come out and fight with me?" A few days ago, Gavin had been using his connections to intimidate others. If it were not for those people, Zi Chen would have killed him long ago. Gavin heard this and did not dare to respond. So, you're a coward. Zichin sneered and said, Don't you feel ashamed following such a guy? The others looked at Zichin and did not dare to say anything. Zichin had taken out 3 baskets of kill crystals, and there was still 1 basket left. It would not be a problem to kill them all. Zichin carried these kill crystals and walked forward. The others looked at Zichin, not knowing what he was going to do. Zichin looked around. Gavin, I know you're here. Do you dare to come out? Whoever tells me where that idiot Gavin is will be rewarded with 10 kill crystals. Zichin walked and said to the crowd, and 1,000 energy raise. This reward was tempting, but everyone doubted whether Zichin would fulfill his promise. Moreover, Gavin had ruled them for a long time. His power was still there, so no one dared to say anything. Gavin, come out. Crawl out is fine. I'll give you a handicap with 1 hand. Do you dare to fight with me? Zichin spoke again and again, his gaze sweeping around like cold lightning. Gavin was hiding somewhere and refused to appear. Zichin planned to leave with these kill crystals. At this moment, the female spellbreaker ran back in his field of vision. He sneered, Bitch, didn't you run away? As he spoke, Zichin immediately took out the killing crystal from behind him and rushed towards his opponent. Before they even arrived, Shajing had already flown ahead. Pa! Pa! The killing crystal exploded, and a murderous aura swept out. There was a hint of fear in the woman's eyes, but she didn't run away. Instead, she stared at Zichin and said resentfully, Stinky thing, you will definitely die today. Bitch, come at me if you dare. Zichin waved his hand, and a dozen crystals flew out. Naturally, he was not afraid. Even the 3-strength realm and 4-strength realm cultivators had been tricked to death by him, so he naturally didn't care about this one. Suddenly, Zichin's expression changed. He sensed that something was wrong and immediately retreated. While he was retreating, he saw a person rushing towards him from the corner of his eye. The opponent was very fast and was approaching him quickly. Zichin did not hesitate to throw out his killing crystals. He threw out dozens of them at once. Pa! 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 The kill crystals kept exploding, forming a murderous aura that separated the 2 parties. Zichin ran and threw out kill crystals at the same time. At this moment, he didn't care about anything. The kill crystals kept exploding. The female spellbreaker shouted from behind, Stinky thing, didn't you want to kill me? Why are you running? Bitch, just you wait. I will kill you. Zichin didn't want to lose. He cursed, just you wait. I will kill you sooner or later. With a bang, Zichin threw away the basket and the last dozens of kill crystals to the side. There was a murderous aura. He couldn't see who it was at all, but it was very strong. The opponent didn't seem to be afraid of the murderous aura. At the very least, she didn't seem to want to run away. Instead, she was still moving forward. You're just in the 2nd realm, and you dare to talk so arrogantly. I want to see what you have. A voice full of energy came from the opposite side of the murderous aura. Bitch, is this your lover? Zichin was not afraid at all. He shouted, You've already killed 1 lover. Are you going to kill another one now? Go to hell. The female spellbreaker screamed in anger. Humph, you're courting death. A strong aura appeared and dispersed the murderous aura. In a hurry, Zichin saw that there were 5 strands of energy surrounding the opponent. This gave him a shock. He held the wooden saber tightly in his hand and threw out the rest of the kill crystals. Zichin, don't run if you dare. I'll wait for you here. Gavin ran out from the dark and shouted at Zichin, Grandson, just you wait. When I come out, I'll kill you too, you bitch. Zichin sped up again. He felt a chill behind him and rushed into the cave. Boom! The energy vibrated and the cave shook as if it was about to collapse. Zichin disappeared into the cave. The middle-aged man who came later looked ahead with an ashen face. He was in the 5th realm, but he could not kill a mere 2nd realm. The female spellbreaker also came forward. Her pretty face was also ugly. "This bastard, I must kill him. That kid is too cunning. I didn't expect him to hide so many kill crystals." Gavin also took the opportunity to come and said angrily, "It's a pity that the 3 masters were killed by such a despicable person." The middle-aged man was in the 5th realm. He looked at the dark cave and frowned. "Master, are you going in?" Gavin saw and immediately said, "It's dirty and messy inside. I'm afraid it will dirty your clothes." The 5th realm said, "It's not difficult to kill him. Do you have a map of this place?" Gavin shook his head awkwardly. "No one has recorded it." "If you insist, I can find someone to lead the way." "Forget it. We don't know what's going on inside. Let's just wait outside." The female spellbreaker said, "In there, energy is constantly being consumed. He can't stay down there forever." Gavin did not tell her that Zi Chen had a lot of energy. It would not be a problem even if he stayed for a few more months. He could see that the 5th realm did not really want to go in because he could not ignore the killing intent. The killing intent from before had injured him, but he was deliberately suppressing it. That's right. That kid has consumed a lot of energy during this period. Even if he has some left, he probably won't have much left. Gavin, who had observed the situation, said, "As long as we wait here, that kid will definitely die." At the same time, Gavin said, "Go and guard the other cave entrances. Once you find Zi Chen's trace, come and report immediately." Everyone nodded and immediately retreated. Zi Chen ran back into the cave. This time he was in big trouble. The other party must be guarding outside. If he could not reach the 3rd realm, he would have to stay here for the rest of his life. Why is there a 5th realm? Chapter 5038. In the mine, Zi Chen was on high alert at first, worried that the other party would come in. After all, it was a 5 strengths realm, which was not something he could fight against. However, after waiting for a while and seeing that the other party did not come in, he was relieved. However, when he thought of the other party's 5 strengths realm, his face turned ugly. He thought that with 3 baskets of crystals, he could be the boss after he got out. After killing Eddie and the other 2, and after the female spellbreaker ran away, he was even more confident. However, he did not expect that a 5 strengths realm would come in the blink of an eye. People outside had never seen such a person before. Why would he come to such a remote place? Zi Chen could not figure it out, and he was very depressed. In fact, it was because Zi Chen did not know how precious the kill crystal was, how wasteful it was to use the kill crystal as a hidden weapon. If some people in Dharma Shattering City knew about this, they would definitely come out in groups with weapons to kill him. Infusing the kill crystal into the weapon would greatly increase its power. Moreover, infusing the weapon with killing intent would make the power permanent, who would use it as a hidden weapon. Picking up a basket from the side, Zi Chen continued his journey of looking for kill crystals. No matter what, it was never wrong to accumulate some kill crystals. The 5 strengths realm was in charge of investigating this place, and he happened to be here today, but he did not expect to meet Sanglari, who was running away. If Zi Chen had attacked earlier, he would not have met the 5 strengths realm. Beside the bonfire, Sanglari explained the situation here. The 5 strengths realm said, "So there are a lot of kill crystals here." Sanglari nodded. From the way Zi Chen calculated the kill crystals they took out, it was indeed so. When she thought of this, she was filled with hatred. During this period, Zi Chen had only taken out a dozen kill crystals. Who would have thought that he had kept so many for himself? The 5 strengths realm frowned. If that's the case, then we need to bring this news back and see what the arrangements are. After all, in the outer area, such a large kill crystal mine has never appeared before. Sanglari immediately said, "Then I'll go back and tell you?" She obviously did not dare to stay here alone. If that 5 forces realm cultivator returned and Zi Chen came out, she would have no chance of survival. This is no small matter. You must tell us the truth. The 5 strengths realm said. Don't worry, I will definitely pass on the message. The woman left. Even though there was a 5 powers realm cultivator in charge, she was still worried that Zi-Chen would suddenly attack. If there were a few more baskets of killing crystals, even a 5 forces realm cultivator might not be able to block it. Gavin wanted to leave, but he didn't dare to. He could only stay here. Underground, Zi-Chen planned to stay for a long time, so he had been looking for killing crystals and cultivating. Zi-Chen didn't know if it was because his mood had relaxed, but he felt that his progress seemed to have become faster. On the night of the 2nd day, Zi-Chen, who was sitting cross-legged in cultivation, suddenly surged with energy. Then, as the energy surged, a force emerged from his body. 3 strength state. This realm came so suddenly that Zi-Chen couldn't believe it. One must know that earlier he had been bitterly cultivating and refining energy non-stop. But in these 2 days, because he knew that he would have to fight a long battle, he didn't even refine the energy. He didn't expect that he would have a breakthrough. His heart was beating violently. Every time, a part of the energy would surge out and pour into his body. Zi-Chen was surprised. His face was filled with surprise and disbelief. Happiness came so suddenly. He stood up and clenched his fists. He felt that his strength had greatly increased. Together with his bone staff and the massacre spirit, he was confident that he could kill a 4-strength state cultivator. But soon, the smile on Zi-Chen's face disappeared, because his enemy was no longer a 4-strength state cultivator, but a 5-strength state cultivator. Compared to him, who was a 3-strength state cultivator, it was 2 levels higher. How could he fight? Zi-Chen thought for a while. Maybe he could fight, but before that, he had to collect enough killing crystals. He didn't believe that the opponent could ignore the killing crystals. Otherwise, he would have killed his way in. He must be worried about the environment here. This was a kill crystal mine, but as Zi-Chen continued to search, there were fewer kill crystals here, and there were not as many as before. Maybe if he continued to dig deeper, he would find something. Zi-Chen obviously didn't have the patience or the energy to do so. The massacre spirit was like a ray of light. It moved underground and sometimes broke into the ground. It absorbed the killing intent to help Zi-Chen search. Zi-Chen wasted a lot of killing crystals, but compared to the killing intent, it was less than 1%. Every time he dug for killing crystals, there would be a lot of killing intent. But the killing intent would be devoured by the massacre spirit. Therefore, during this period of time, the growth of the spirit of massacre was very obvious. Zi-Chen started to search for killing crystals without rest. The massacre spirit also started to assist him. Zi-Chen only used 5 days to find 3 baskets of killing crystals. But compared to last time, the killing crystals this time were not uniform. They were of different sizes. Some of them were even as big as a human head. Zi-Chen obviously didn't care about that. It was inappropriate for him to stay in the mine. After preparing the killing crystals, he carried the 3 baskets of killing crystals out. In order to be careful, he ran out from another exit. After coming out, Zi-Chen ran away like crazy. As soon as he came out, he was noticed by the people guarding the entrance. Someone immediately went to report. Zi-Chen was still running. As he ran, he threatened, "Whoever dares to follow me, I will kill him." Seeing that Zi-Chen was carrying so many killing crystals, everyone had to stop and didn't dare to follow. Zi-Chen ran while looking for a suitable place to fight. Whether he lived or died, it all depended on this fight. After the 5-strength realm heard the news, he immediately rushed over. Then he saw Zi-Chen running away. Zi-Chen didn't run fast because he was carrying killing crystals. Humph. The 5-strength realm snorted. "So you broke through. No wonder you are so bold. But do you think you can run away like this?" He leaped forward, his speed much faster than Zi-Chen's. When the others saw this, They didn't dare to follow and could only watch from afar. At this moment, Zi-Chen's figure turned and disappeared from a high ground. The 5-strength realm followed him. Then they heard a rumbling sound. Boom! 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 That was the sound of killing crystals exploding. It was like a series of claps of thunder, continuous. The high ground was shaking. Countless killing intents flashed back and forth. Everyone only dared to stand in the distance and watch the killing intents sweep over. No one dared to approach. During this time, the 5-strength realm cried out in alarm. Zi-Chen stood there as he tossed out 3 baskets of killing crystals in one go. The killing intent spread and attacked the 5-strength realm. The 5-strength realm's body was shining, but it could only block a portion of the killing crystals. The remaining killing intent pierced through his body. The 5-strength realm was injured, but he wasn't afraid of the injury at all. He laughed sinisterly and rushed toward Zi-Chen. Kid, die. He came in front of Zi-Chen. This sentence is for you. Chapter 5039. The 5-force state was still unable to ignore the killing intent, but he still carried the killing intent and moved forward. His goal was simple, to resist the killing intent and kill Zi-Chen with a slap. For a 5-strengths realm cultivator, it was not difficult for him to do this. However, what awaited him was not Zi-Chen, who was at the mercy of others. Instead, it was the bone stick that smashed him. The bone stick carried a powerful aura. The 5-strength state cultivator's face changed, and he immediately raised his hand to block. Boom! A powerful force surged, and the 5-strength state cultivator was pushed back. He looked at the bone stick in Zi-Chen's hand and was shocked. This is a bone weapon. Zi-Chen smiled and said, That's right. Whoosh! The slaughtering spirit appeared. Like a real lightning, it instantly pierced through the 5-strength state cultivator's head. Its speed was unimaginably fast. The killing intent raged wildly, and the surrounding temperature seemed to have dropped a lot. Ah! The 5-strength state cultivator let out a scream, and his expression was even more shocked. He did not expect that a 3rd-strength state cultivator would have so many strange items. Puff! The slaughtering spirit quickly turned back, shuttling back and forth, and opened another wound on the 5-strength state cultivator's head. At the same time, Zi-Chen held the bone stick in his hand and continuously smashed it down. Boom! 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 It was like thunder, and the sound was endless. The people in the distance did not dare to come closer, and they were all shocked when they heard the sounds. As expected of a 5-strength state cultivator, his attacks are comparable to thunder. This time Zi-Chen is dead. This kid is too arrogant. He's just a 2nd-strength state cultivator, and he dares to challenge a 5-strength state cultivator. He seems to be a 3rd-strength state cultivator. Ah, did he break through? So fast? So what? He's still going to die. No one dared to come forward, and they could only listen to the sounds. Their words showed that they were not optimistic about Zi-Chen's chances. Thinking about it, how could a 3rd-strength state cultivator fight against a 5-strength state cultivator? That reckless guy dares to come out. Jiawen walked over, looked into the distance, and said indifferently, Unfortunately, I can't kill him with my own hands. They looked at Gavin, not daring to speak. The other party only dared to say that because he knew that Zi-Chen was about to die. Back when Zi-Chen was at the 2nd force state, Gavin was so scared that he did not dare to come out, let alone now. If Zi-Chen appeared again, Gavin would definitely run away with his tail between his legs. Of course, that would never happen. Zi-Chen was dead for sure. Right at that moment, cries of surprise rang out from all around. That was because a person had walked out from that place. The reason why they were so surprised was because it was Zi-Chen who walked out, not the 5-strength state. How could this be? Everyone was stunned as they looked ahead in disbelief. Where is that 5 strengths, Realm Master? Could he have been killed by Zichin? Everyone discussed spiritedly, feeling that it was inconceivable. How is that possible? A mere 2nd Force Realm Warrior can kill a 5th Force Realm Warrior? Gavin said disdainfully. It must be because he is still useful to my lord, so he didn't kill him. This explanation was obviously very reasonable. No one would think that Zichin could kill a 5-strength state warrior. However, a 5-strength state warrior could easily kill Zichin. Zichin was able to find the killing crystal, so he was still very useful. Just when everyone thought that what Gavin said was very reasonable, Zichin suddenly rushed forward. He sped up with a cold smile on his face. Humph, are you trying to scare me? If you dare to come over, I will dare to kick you. Gavin snorted coldly with a disdainful expression. With his lord here, even if he kicked Zichin to death, Zichin would not dare to retaliate. Zichin was getting faster and faster, but the 5-strength state master did not come out. Gavin's expression changed, and he started to panic. He did not believe that a 5-strength state warrior would die, but he felt that the two of them might have just reached an agreement. This agreement might be to kill him. After all, Zichin had already reached the 3rd strength state and was qualified to be the leader. Furthermore, he could find the killing crystal, so he was naturally more useful. Guessing this, he turned and ran. Don't run if you dare! Zichin sneered and sped up again, charging towards Gavin. Stop him! Stop him! Gavin shouted as he ran. No one dared to stop him. Not to mention that Zichin did not have the killing crystal. No one dared to stop him because he was in the 3rd strength state. Gavin's speed was obviously not as fast as Zichin. However, Zichin was not in a hurry and allowed him to keep running. He did not want to reveal his trump cards now. Zichin, did you reach an agreement with the Lord? Gavin shouted as he ran. Let me go! I can give you the position of leader. Zichin sneered and did not reply. We have no enmity between us. Why do you have to do this? I can be your assistant from now on. I know how to get the most out of you without being discovered by the people inside. Gavin looked behind him and realized that their speed was about the same. As long as he had enough energy, Zichin would not be able to catch up. I know how to do it myself. Zichin's voice was cold. He was obviously trying to confuse him. It's different. There are techniques. Also, I've been here for so many years and am familiar with the process. Even if you want to be the leader, you'll need some time to get used to it. Let me go, and I'll be your underling from now on. How about that? Zichin said disdainfully. Do you think you're worthy? Zichin, don't go too far. At most, we'll fight to the death and perish together, Gavin suddenly said sternly. If you had the ability, you wouldn't be running. Zichin followed behind. Why don't you stand there and talk to me? Zichin, don't go too far. Gavin's face turned ashen. If the Lord can spare your life today, he can take it away in the future. One more friend means one more path. Why should one more enemy? Who's the Lord you're talking about? Zichin, listen to my advice and eat your fill. Let's not talk about other things. Take my connections in Pofa City as an example. If you offend me, you won't have a good life in the future. At this moment, Gavin suddenly stopped and looked at Zichin. Zichin was surprised. Why don't you run? There's no one else here. I'll be honest with you. I can give you the position of the leader, but you still need my help. Otherwise, you can't get the resources from Pofa City. Gavin said confidently. There's no grudge between you and me. I believe you know what to choose in front of great benefits. Zichin curled his lips. You think you're so smart. This is called seeking truth from facts. If you kill me, how will you contact Pofa City? Why should they give you resources? Gavin patted his chest and said, But I can. After so many years, I didn't use my connections for nothing. Like I said, the Lord needs you now, so he'll spare your life. When he doesn't need you anymore, you'll die. Are you talking about that Five Forces realm warrior? Chen smiled. If I tell you that he's dead, will you believe me? Impossible. You. Gavin didn't believe him. Chen suddenly sped up and approached Gavin. He's waiting for you on the road to the underworld. You can ask him for more details later. A palm fell. Chapter 5040. Gavin, from the beginning to the end, did not believe that a 5-strength state cultivator had died. Hence, he firmly believed that Chen did not dare to kill him and wanted to negotiate with Chen. The light crossed and Gavin's body disintegrated. After falling to the ground, it turned into light and disappeared. Gavin's expression froze. He did not expect that Chen would kill him so decisively. Of course, Chen would not show mercy to Gavin. After all, he had killed a 5-strength state cultivator. He had long since become an enemy of some people in Dharma-shattering city. He turned around and planned to leave. Suddenly, his expression changed slightly, because at the place where Gavin disappeared, a sparkling light flashed. Upon closer inspection, it was a ring. What's this? Chen bent down and picked it up. This kind of thing had never appeared in this world before. Chen tried to input some energy and immediately sensed the abnormality in it. He opened his mouth in shock. There was energy inside, a lot of energy. There were so many that Chen could not count them. He estimated that there were tens of thousands of them. Obviously, this was Gavin's private stash. Over the years, he had accumulated a terrifying amount of energy. Such a huge amount was really shocking. Chen felt good when he obtained more than 1,000 energy streams. However, the energy he obtained this time was dozens of times more than what he had before. Chen immediately put the ring on his finger. Now he did not have to worry about the energy consumption. In addition, what made Chen happy was that this ring was obviously a storage space. Perhaps it had other uses. Thus, he walked back to the mine. Under the astonished gazes of the crowd, he picked up a wooden stick and walked into the mine. As soon as he entered the mine, he tried to put away the wooden stick. He succeeded. His guess was right. This ring was indeed an item from this world. It could store things here at will. Hence, Chen quickly entered the mine again. This time, he found a killing crystal and put it away. This made him very surprised. He had tried many times before, but he could not put away these killing crystals. Hence, he could only put them in a basket. Who would have thought that he would actually keep it? If it were not for the kill crystals, Chen would not have been able to kill the 5 Forces realm. Therefore, Chen planned to get more kill crystals in case he needed them. He didn't have much time, so he had to speed up. After staying here for 2 days and 2 nights, Chen collected some kill crystals and left through another exit. There were people guarding the place, but after seeing Chen, no one dared to speak. They just watched as Chen left. For this trip, Chen had no purpose. Obviously, he couldn't look for Miao Pengfei. Otherwise, he would implicate him. In that case, he could only move forward aimlessly. Wherever he went, he would go. When night fell, Chen lit a bonfire and sat alone beside it in a daze. Suddenly, Chen felt a gust of wind. He immediately turned around and saw a ghostly figure not far away. Vanishing Shadow Beast. The other party stood in the distance and looked at Chen. Chen's eyes lit up. Immortal Spiritual Eye. Under the Immortal Spiritual Eye, Chen saw the other party's body. It was like a shadow swaying in front of him, but he was sure that it was a real figure. It just looked illusory. Only he could see it. If it were anyone else, they wouldn't be able to see it. Swoosh! The slaughter spirit appeared and flew straight towards the other party. Poof! The slaughter spirit pierced through the ghostly figure's body. The ghostly figure struggled for a while, and a hole appeared in its body. Then it turned into light and disappeared. Chen was stunned. He wasn't sure if the other party was dead or had run away. The vanishing shadow beast disappeared. Under the Immortal Spiritual Eye, he saw a group of law-breaking beasts rushing towards him. Zichen sat beside the bonfire and quietly watched the law-breaking beasts approach. Swoosh! After reaching the attack range, the slaughter spirit attacked. It turned into a stream of light and moved forward. With a strong killing intent, it pierced through the bodies of the law-breaking beasts. Pooh! 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 None of the law-breaking beasts could escape. They all died, and Zichen didn't get any new energy. This might be related to the increase of his cultivation level. He had too much energy, so he didn't care about this at the moment. The sky brightened. Zichen continued forward. Along the way, when he encountered some mountains, he would deliberately avoid them. This was because he might run into other miners who would reveal his whereabouts. After all, this was still an area under Kevin's control. A few days later, Solali returned with the latest news. The higher-ups valued this place and wanted to increase their efforts to develop it. But what she learned was the death of a 5-strength realm cultivator. This made her extremely frightened. She looked around vigilantly. A few days had passed, and Zichen was nowhere to be seen. Damn it! She was angry and had to return again. Since they were all dead, the news couldn't be reported. And this time, even a 5-strength realm cultivator was dead. They should pay more attention to Zichen. When she left, Solali was still very cautious. She was worried that Zichen would suddenly kill her. At this moment, Zichen was completely away from this place. He traveled day and night. After walking for more than half a month, he finally found a place to live. This place was very far from Pofa City. There are no mountains around, so naturally there were no mineral veins. But there were people living here. Could it be a small town? Zichen's heart skipped a beat. He remembered the place where he and Miao Pengfei stayed. To be honest, living in that place was much better than here. At least there was no worry. As Zichen approached, this place that could barely be called a small town, but was actually a village, suddenly there was a commotion. Then many people walked out with sticks in their hands. They stood at the door and looked at Zichen cautiously. Zichen walked closer. Looking at the hostile crowd, he said, "Sorry, I'm lost. May I know where this place is?" "Stop acting. You're here to catch us." A strong man with a wooden saber snorted. He was a 2-strength realm cultivator. He looked at Zichen indifferently. Zichen was surprised. "Why would I want to catch you? You want to catch us and use us as cannon fodder. We won't fall for it." Another person said, "Leave. Otherwise, don't blame us for being rude." Zichen looked at them. Their eyes were filled with fear and panic. Even if someone threatened them, they still forced themselves to say it. "If I'm here to catch you, will I come alone?" He glanced at the crowd. "Moreover, you don't deserve to be caught by a 3-strength realm cultivator, right?" Although Zichen's words were unpleasant, they were the truth. Chapter 5041. Everyone looked at Zichen. It was obvious that there were 3 forces surrounding him. If it was really those people, they would not be so nice. "What's your name?" the brawny man asked. Zichen said. The brawny man's eyes flashed. "This is Exile City. We've been living here." This place was even smaller than Miao Pengfei's Spellbreaker City. It was not suitable to call it a city. The brawny man invited Zichen in and told him that it was called this place because they were all refugees. It would take about 10 days to travel east from here. There was a mine and most of them came from there. The reason for their escape was simple. The captain had embezzled too many resources. If they did not run, they would die of exhaustion. Everyone supported each other here. It was a comfortable life. Zichen asked about the mine and the person in charge. He said that it was ruled by a person called Byuki. The brawny man was called Nori. It was said that there were 4 other 2nd-strength realm people like him. There were 5 2nd-strength realm people guarding this place. They did not have to worry about being attacked by the Spellbreaker beasts. Zichen had nowhere to go, so he stayed here for the time being. Outside the mine with killing crystals, Sang Lari brought some people. One of them was a 5th strength realm, while the others were all 4th strength realm. After hearing what the crowd said about Zichin, the 5 strength realm cultivator's face turned ugly. He's only a 2nd strength realm. Why did he use killing crystals to kill others? The 5th strength realm person looked at one of them and asked. The person shook his head. I don't know. The 5th strength realm person's face turned cold. You don't know or you don't dare to say? The 2nd strength realm person's face turned pale. What's there to hide? Hurry up and say it. A 4th strength realm person said sternly, If you don't say it, we'll kill you now. The 5th strength realm person waved his hand. The 4th strength realm person took a step back and said gently, Let's hear it. Don't worry. If you tell the truth, no one will target you. At the same time, he took out 10 strength realm. This is your reward. It doesn't matter if you're wrong. The 2nd strength realm person hesitated and said, I don't know the details. It might have something to do with them beating Zichin. Oh, how do we beat them? 5 strengths realm asked. The 2nd force realm expert glanced at Solali cautiously and said, I'm not sure about the details, but whenever I see Lord Gavin, I'll kick Zichin when I have nothing to do. I'll kick him when I have something to gain, and I'll kick him when I don't. When the 3 lords saw this, they did not pay any attention to it. In fact, it was always Singlary who made the first move, and then Gavin would follow behind to take advantage of the situation. However, before his eyes, the former was standing right here, while the latter was already dead. This 2nd strength realm cultivator was obviously not stupid and knew what to say. The 5 strengths realm nodded and gave the other party 10 streams of power. The matter was clearly clear. There was indeed a reason why Zichin had used the killing crystal to scheme against them. Solali, why is this happening? 5 forces realm looked at Solali. Although he was obviously 1 realm higher than the other, he did not use the tone of a superior. That bastard is really cunning. He killed Leon as soon as he arrived, and now he wants to kill me. Solali said he's full of evil tricks. During this period of time, he only took out a dozen killing crystals, but I didn't expect that he had hundreds of them in secret. It's obvious that he's up to no good. The 5 strengths realm said, This is your answer. Solali looked at him. What else? Are you going to say that this is all my fault? The 5 strengths realm frowned slightly. Even if I admit that I'm guilty, do you dare to convict me? Solali scoffed. Do you have the ability to convict a lawbreaker? You don't have to care about this place. Go back. Facing the other party's provocation, the 5 strengths realm said, From now on, I'll be in charge of this place. I swear I won't stop until I kill him. Solali said coldly. The higher-ups have already said that they want him alive. The 5 strengths realm's gaze turned cold. If you want to kill him, I have no objections. I can even help you, but the premise is that you have to go inside and look for killing crystals in the future. Are you threatening me? Solali stared at the 5 strengths realm. I'm just stating a fact. The 5 strengths realm said, No matter how special your identity is, if you kill someone who can obtain killing crystals, it won't be easy to explain when you go back, right? Moreover, now that he's run away, we'll have to expend a lot of manpower to find him. Can you bear the cost and losses during this period? Humph. Solali scoffed, turned around, and left. The other 4 strengths realm watched Solali leave, and their eyes were extremely cold. These lawbreakers really can't do anything right. They didn't need to guess to know what had happened. If Zichin wasn't forced into a corner, why would he kill someone for no reason? The 5 strengths realm said, Now go back and find people. We must find Zichin. He looked at the mineral vein in front of him. A 2 strengths realm who can harvest killing crystals is still very rare. Moreover, he's someone who has such a high efficiency. I'll go find people now. The Four Strengths realm started to turn back. Of course, he wasn't going back to the city, but to the area that Gavin originally controlled to gather people there. Gavin was dead, and his deputy who had been by his side had replaced him. At this moment, he had mobilized almost all of his men to go out and find Ziqin. Ziqin had been gone for a long time, and it was obviously impossible to find him in a short time. Therefore, the Four Strengths realm went to Shaman's area and met him. Shaman was obviously stunned when he knew the purpose of the Four Strengths realm's visit. "Sir, you're looking for Ziqin?" The Four Strengths realm nodded. Shaman said, "Didn't Ziqin leave with Gavin?" "There were also 3, sir, from Dharma Breaking City. They beat up Ziqin violently, and after he was very obedient, they took him away." The Four Strengths realm's face showed a hint of anger. Although he had known about this, he was still angry when he heard Shaman say it. Those idiots really couldn't do anything big. He said coldly, "Ziqin killed them all. Gavin is dead, and Eddie and the other 2 were killed." "What?" The shaman's face showed a hint of shock and disbelief. Ziqin was only at the Two Strengths realm. How did he do it? "What is this?" The Four Strengths realm said he killed a 5 Strengths realm not long ago and then ran away. The shaman was shocked again. Was this really the Ziqin he knew? Then the shaman called Crew and asked him to mobilize everyone, put down all of their work, and go out to look for Ziqin. When Crew heard everything about Ziqin from the shaman, he was also shocked. 2 whole areas with almost 10,000 people were mobilized to look for Ziqin. On the second day of Ziqin's stay in Exile City, a Two Strengths realm called Lance returned. Chapter 5042. That was what Lance said the moment he saw Ziqin. Ziqin looked at him. Seeing that Ziqin did not respond, Lance said again, "Everyone is looking for you. Come with me." "What happened?" Nori asked with a puzzled expression. "Now people from 2 regions are looking for him." Lance looked at Ziqin. "As for what happened, you can ask him." Ziqin frowned slightly. He thought that this place was remote enough. He did not expect his identity to be exposed as soon as he arrived. "What did you do? Why are people from 2 regions looking for you?" Nori looked at Ziqin curiously. Ziqin looked at the 2 of them and said calmly, "I killed a 5 Strength state." "What?" The expressions of the 2 changed abruptly, and they were extremely shocked. Nori was sitting with Ziqin. Now, he stood up and distanced himself from Ziqin. Lance knew some things, but he did not expect Ziqin to do such a big thing. How did he kill a 5 Strength state when he was only at 3rd Strength state? Ziqin stood up and walked outside. Since his identity was exposed, he could not stay here any longer. "Where are you going?" Lance ran out of the room. "I'm going somewhere else. I can't drag you guys down," Ziqin said without even turning his head as he walked out of the city. Lance and Nori looked at each other. Then Lance immediately chased after him and said they sent out a lot of people. "No matter where you go, they can find you." Ziqin looked at Lance. Lance continued, "Follow me. I know a place where they can't find you." Ziqin walked forward without saying a word. "You don't trust me?" Lance followed. "You and I have never met before. Why should I trust you?" Ziqin had seen too many bad things since he came here. Of course, he would not trust a person he had just met, and Lance's purpose of coming back seemed to be to find him. "If they find you, they will definitely harm you," Lance said. "But we won't. We will only protect you. Trust me, we mean you no harm. If we really wanted to harm you, we wouldn't have come alone." Ziqin looked at Lance again. "Why are you helping me?" This question startled Lance. Shouldn't a normal person be the first to express their gratitude when receiving help? Lance thought about it and said, "We don't want to see oppression happen. We don't want to see you get killed by them." Seeming to have guessed what Ziqin was worried about, Lance continued, "Don't worry, The place I found for you also has resources. It won't delay your cultivation. We don't mean any harm, we just want to help you." Lance extended 3 fingers. 3 days. They will find this place in less than 3 days, and everyone will have to leave this place soon. Rather than wandering around aimlessly, why don't you come with me? Don't worry, if you don't want to stay, you can leave at any time. After some hesitation, Zichen nodded. Now that he had nowhere to go, he could go and take a look. Lance led Zichen to an even more remote place. Along the way, they could see some mountains and forests, but there was no one to be seen. Just as the 2 of them left, everyone in the 2 regions was mobilized and started a thorough search for Zichen. They searched very seriously and carefully. Everyone gave up on their original jobs and started searching for Zichen. This showed how much attention these people paid to Zichen. One had to know that these people would consume a lot of energy every day, and the consumption every day was huge. Zichen followed Lance for 5 days. During this time, they passed by an even smaller village. There were only a dozen buildings here. Lance went in to find someone, and they talked about something. After that, Lance continued leading Zichen deeper into the village. They walked for another 10 days. During these 10 days, the 2 of them traveled day and night. They did not encounter any annihilating shadow beasts. When they did, Lance dealt with them. Zichen finally saw a decent city. This city was built in the middle of the mountains, and its scale was not small. After entering the city, Lance took Zichen to find a 3rd strength realm cultivator. This 3rd strength realm cultivator then took Zichen to find a 4th strength realm cultivator. "You are Zichen." The 4th strength realm cultivator looked at Zichen curiously. "You are famous now. There are tens of thousands of people looking for you." Zichen asked, "Where is this place?" "Jutian City." The 4th strength realm cultivator said, "My name is Luobu. Come with me and familiarize yourself with this place." Luobu led Zichen into the city. "You will be living here for a long time, so try to familiarize yourself with it." Zichen looked at Luobu. "I didn't say I was going to stay." Luobu smiled. "If you don't stay here, where else can you go? Don't worry, no one will make things difficult for you here." He looked around and said, "You're not the only one who fled here." Zichen's expression suddenly changed. "You are the rebel army?" Luobu looked at him strangely. "Why do you say that? This place is remote and far from Pofa City. It is obviously not under the jurisdiction of Pofa City." Zichen looked around. "And you said that there are other people who fled here. The forces of Pofa City won't take them in, right?" Hu Zhang had told him about the rebel army. "We are not the rebel army. We are just a group of different people who want to live." Luobu said, "Look, everyone is living here. There is no oppression, no embezzlement, and no scheming. Isn't it good?" Zichen looked at these people. Compared to the places Zichen had seen before, this place was indeed much better. But if that was the case, Zichen could not stay, because once those people found this place, he would bring endless disaster to this place. Zichen shook his head and said, "I can't stay here." Luobu looked at Zichen and said, "If you feel bad, then you can work in exchange for payment." Zichen shook his head again. "That's not what I meant. I killed a 5-strength realm cultivator. They will find me sooner or later." A strange light flashed through Luobu's eyes. "Although I'm curious as to how you did it, everyone has their own secrets. If you insist on leaving, I will not persuade you anymore. But where can you go? Anywhere is fine. In short, can I stay here?" Zichen did not want to implicate the people here. He had already made up his mind to leave. Luobu was silent for a moment and said, "Do you dare to fight?" Zichen looked at him in confusion. "Since you know they are coming, why not fight?" "How?" "We found a mineral vein. There might be martial crystals in it." Chapter 5043. Zichen looked at Luo Bu. He was surprised by Luo Bu's words. Martial Jingshur was a good item that could help one break through. Last time in the mine, Zichen only found some scattered martial force, but he did not see any martial Jingshur. Zichen felt that the reason why he was able to break through and reach the third strength realm was because of the martial force he had absorbed back then. Vaguely, he seemed to have guessed the real reason why these people brought him here. The people in Pova City wanted him to find killing crystals, but these people wanted him to find martial Jingshur. Zichen's expression changed, and he said hesitantly, "I heard that martial Jingshur is very scary, and the martial force can kill anyone who touches it." Luo Bu said, "Of course it's dangerous. No one will risk their life unless it's a critical moment. If you want to break through quickly, you can only risk your life." Zichen hesitated for a long time, then said, "Okay, I'll try." Luo Bu looked at Zichen and said, "You should know that once you enter, life and death will be determined. In other words, once you enter, it's a matter of life and death." Zichen nodded. He was well aware of this. Luo Bu said, "There's one more thing. If you succeed, we need 90% of your harvest." Okay. Zichen did not have any other choice, so he nodded and said, "If I can come out alive, you must give me the first martial Jingshur." He needed martial Jingshur to break through. "No, I'll give you the fifth one." Luo Bu shook his head and said, "What?" Zichen's expression changed, and he said in disbelief, "How can I get so many at once? I need martial Jingshur to break through, so I must get the first one." "The third one." Luo Bu said, "We found the martial Jingshur mine, so we should get some of it." Zichen smiled bitterly. "What's the point of bargaining now? Whether or not I can come out alive is still a question. What I mean is, if I survive, I need a martial Jingshur to break through. After all, as long as I'm alive, I can continue to help you find martial Jingshur." "I'll give you the second piece." "That's the most I can decide," Luo Bu said. "There's a vein of or inside. Since you have the ability to get one piece, you can naturally get two pieces." "All right then." Zichen could only nod in agreement. There was no point in continuing to argue. Luo Bu walked forward. "Come with me." Luo Bu led Zichen into the city and walked towards a rather remote room. After entering, there were two people in the third strength realm standing guard. Apart from that, there was also a mine. This made Zichen very surprised. He did not expect that they would place the entrance to the mine here. However, this also showed how extraordinary this mine was. Perhaps they could really find martial crystal stones there. The two of them looked at Zichen, obviously guessing that he was going to enter. "Be careful." Luo Bu handed Zichen a torch and a set of mining tools. Zichen took the items and walked in. The mine was extremely dark. Under the gazes of the three people, Zichen lit the torch and walked into the dark mine. After watching Zichen disappear, one of them asked, "Is he the rumored person?" Luo Bu nodded. "That's him." That person continued, "Too many people have died. I hope he can succeed this time." During this period of time, their people had tried many times, but none of them had survived. "I hope so." Luo Bu walked out of the room and saw a person standing outside. It was a person in the fifth strength realm. Luo Bu approached him and cupped his fists in greeting. The person in the fifth strength realm asked. He went in. Luo Bu nodded and said he went in. The person in the fifth strength realm looked into the distance and muttered, "I hope he can be faster. If he's too late, our location will be exposed." Luo Bu asked in surprise, "Sir, you think he can succeed?" "Perhaps." After all, he's someone who can find many killing crystals, the person in the fifth strength realm said. "Once he succeeds, our overall battle strength will increase." Luo Bu asked again, "But what if he fails?" The person in the fifth strength realm said indifferently, "Then he won't be able to come out. He can only feel regret." What I mean is, what if he doesn't gain anything and comes out alive? Luobu said, even killing intent can't kill him. That kid is still a bit strange. We have to be careful in this situation. If that's the case, then it's even easier. The person in the 5th strength realm smiled and said, after all, he can still find killing crystals. Naturally, it's useful. Ziqin kept going deeper and deeper, appearing to be very cautious. After going deeper for a while, Ziqin stopped and looked behind him. He did not go in immediately, but stayed where he was. After a full 15 minutes, when no one else appeared, he felt relieved and walked in. It seemed that this place was dangerous enough that no one dared to follow him. Ziqin's eyes flashed. He activated his celestial spiritual eye, and everything around him became clear. He began to go deeper. At first, he was not familiar with this place. Therefore, he did not move quickly and walked slowly. Very soon, he saw a fork in the road and walked towards it. He was not sure where Wu Jingshi was, so he needed to go through the caves one by one. After another half an hour, after confirming that there were no other dangers, Ziqin increased his speed. If he delayed any longer, the people of Dharma Shattering City might catch up with him. It would not be good if he got everyone involved. After walking to the end of the first fork, Ziqin did not find anything. He started to run back. He continued to go deeper and changed his path when he encountered a fork. He did not know how much time had passed, but every time he encountered a fork in the road, he would make a mark in advance so that he would not get lost in this unfamiliar place. After repeating this for a while, Ziqin finally found something when he reached the end of the road. There was a ball of martial force floating in front of him. It was condensed and did not dissipate. From afar, it looked like a living thing wriggling there. Ziqin had the celestial spiritual eye, so he could see it clearly. If it was someone else holding a torch, they would definitely be shocked. Ziqin walked forward, but he was still very careful. When he was about 5 feet away, the martial force started to change and seemed to become violent. When they were about 3 feet apart, the martial force suddenly flew toward him. This time, Ziqin reacted in advance. He took out the bone rod and slashed forward. Wow! The bone rod swept past and scattered a ray of light. The martial force dissipated a little. Seeing this, Ziqin's expression changed. He felt a little sorry. In the next moment, the scattered martial force landed on Ziqin and immediately entered his body. The feeling of being on the verge of exploding appeared once again. However, this time it was unknown if it was because his body had experienced it before. When Ziqin felt uncomfortable, a suction force came from his heart and devoured all the martial force. In the blink of an eye, the martial force in front of Ziqin disappeared. He did not feel any discomfort in his body. Chapter 5044. The martial force in front of him had all disappeared. Ziqin immediately went forward, feeling a little excited. If he could obtain a martial crystal, his cultivation level might increase again. At that time, he would have an additional ability to protect himself. Ziqin was disappointed. There was no martial crystal at the end of the path. Only the energy that was condensed and did not dissipate after being absorbed would disappear. Ziqin looked carefully. Indeed, there was no martial crystal. It seemed that he could only go to the next place. Along the way, he searched. During this time, he found a few places with martial force. However, he did not find a single martial crystal. Ziqin could not understand this. According to his experience in finding killing crystals, there would definitely be killing crystals in places where killing intent gathered. However, this place was very strange. Ziqin went to a few other places, but still did not find anything. However, he absorbed a lot of martial force. This was a pleasant surprise. Estimating that some time had passed, Ziqin walked out. The two of them were still guarding here. When they saw Ziqin, they were very surprised. "You came out so quickly. Did you find something?" Ziqin shook his head. "No, there's not a single martial crystal. The two of them looked at Zi-Chin suspiciously. Zi-Chen walked out of the room and saw Luobu not far away. When Luobu saw Zi-Chin, he was very surprised and immediately walked over. How was it? Did you find anything? Zi-Chin shook his head again. No, other than some martial force. I didn't find any martial crystal. Not a single one? Luobu asked. Not a single one, Zi-Chin said. Perhaps you'll find something if you dig a little deeper. During this time, Zi-Chin also tried to dig some places. However, he was only one person, so he could only dig a few places symbolically. Moreover, the martial crystal here seemed to be very rare. It was not easy to dig it out. It would take a lot of time. However, what he lacked now was time. Really? Luobu asked again. Zi-Chin looked at him. You don't trust me? It's not that I don't trust you, it's that I can't believe you. After all, this is a martial crystal stone mine. Yet, you're telling me that you haven't discovered any martial crystal stones. Luobu bitterly smiled. Tell me, how can I accept this? Zi-Chen said. If you don't believe me, you can send people in to take a look now. The power of martial arts inside has almost disappeared, and there will be no danger if you go in again. Luobu waved his hand, and the two people who had followed him out immediately returned. It was obvious that the two of them had gone to investigate. Why did you come out so early? Luobu asked again. I've been here for quite some time. If I don't leave soon, others will find this place. At that time, you will be implicated. Zi-Chen's reply caught Luobu off guard. He didn't expect this to be the reason. How thoughtful of you. Luobu smiled. However, it doesn't matter if you wait a little longer. We have the ability to protect you. Zi-Chen didn't say anything. He saw a few more people entering the room. Clearly, many people were going to try to enter. In this way, everyone's speed would be faster. After about 2 hours, one of them walked out. He shook his head at Luobu and said, We haven't encountered any danger yet. Under normal circumstances, they would encounter danger very soon. This proved that Zi-Chen wasn't lying. Can I leave now? Zi-Chen looked at Luobu. Luobu said with a troubled expression, Zi-Chen, it's not that I don't trust you, but this matter is very important. Therefore, I have to ask you to understand. Zi-Chen opened his hands and said, You can search me. The martial crystal was not small. It was impossible to hide it on one's body. It could be seen at a glance. Luobu said, Zi-Chen, we've already come to this point. We won't make things difficult for you. How about showing some sincerity? Is this not sincerity? Zi-Chen looked at him. Luobu pointed at Zi-Chen's ring. This is sincerity. This was obtained after killing Jiawen. It could store the things in this world. The kill crystals he obtained, as well as Jiawen's harvest, were all inside. He didn't expect Luobu to know about this ring. His expression changed, and he said, This won't do. Luobu smiled. Zi-Chen, this is not up to you. Don't worry, we mean you no harm. We're just checking to see if you've fulfilled your promise. There are tens of thousands of strands of energy inside. At the same time, there were enough kill crystals to kill a 5th strength realm cultivator. It could be said that this was a supreme treasure. How could it fall into the hands of others? Moreover, if they wanted to check, they would have to open it. Would they return it to him after it was recognized? Seeing Zi-Chen's hesitant expression, Luobu said, Zi-Chen, where's the trust between us? Zi-Chen's eyes flashed. Open it and prove your innocence. At this moment, someone walked over from afar and said, We never deceive others. We guarantee our credibility. No matter what's inside, as long as there are no martial crystals, it's still yours. The person who spoke was a 5th strength realm cultivator. Zi-Chen's expression changed. It seemed that he had just escaped from the tiger's den not long ago, and now there were signs of stepping into the wolf's den. If a fifth strength realm cultivator attacked with all his might, he might be able to kill him. Of course, this was the worst-case scenario. Right now, there was another way, which was to take out the kill crystals and keep them by his side. This way, even if an accident happened, he would be able to take care of it. At this moment, another person walked over from afar. He said, "What's going on here?" He was also a fifth strength realm cultivator. Luobu said, "I want to see if there are any martial crystals inside." "Just taking a look. Is there a problem?" The fifth strength realm cultivator looked at Zichen. "No problem." Looking at the two fifth strength realm cultivators, Zichen had no intention of resisting. He took off the ring and handed it to Luobu. Luobu smiled faintly and opened it. Even though he had seen much of the world, he was still shocked when he saw what was inside. Then his breathing quickened and his eyes became fiery. "How is it?" Seeing that Luobu's expression was not right, the fifth strength realm cultivator immediately asked. "There are no martial crystals, but sir, take a look at this." Luobu removed the ownership and handed the ring to one of them. After looking at it, the other person had the same expression. Then, the other fifth strength realm cultivator also saw it. The number of killing crystals shocked them greatly. No wonder Zichen was unwilling to let them see it. It turned out that there were so many kill crystals inside. Relatively speaking, the tens of thousands of kill crystals were nothing. Of course, it was still a shocking number, but it was not as precious as the kill crystals. Zichen said, "Since you've seen it, you can give it to me, right?" The fifth strength realm cultivator smiled and said, "Zichen, right? You're not honest. There are clearly martial crystals inside. Why did you say there aren't any?" Zichen's expression suddenly changed. Chapter 5045. The five-strength realm looked at Zichen and said with disappointment, "We had an agreement. Why didn't you keep your word?" Zichen looked at him and remained silent. The five-strength realm shook his head and said, "The trust between us is gone. You have disappointed us." Luobu was stunned, but he quickly reacted. When he looked at Zichen again, there was a hint of mockery in his eyes. This guy was an idiot. There was such an important thing in the ring, and he took it out. Stupid. Zichen took a deep breath. It was as expected. You didn't keep your word. Tell me, what do you want us to do? The five-strength realm looked at Zichen and said bitterly, "We hate people who don't keep their word." Zichen finally spoke. "Why don't you take out a piece of martial crystal? Let me take a look?" The five-strength realm was stunned. He did not expect Zichen to say that. He knew whether there was a martial crystal in the ring or not. "Why? Do you think I'm accusing you? Do you think I can't take it out?" The five-strength realm's eyes turned cold and said indifferently, "Are you accusing me of coveting your things?" Zichen did not want to continue this topic and asked directly, "What do you want?" The five-strength realm sneered, "Now, I should be the one asking you what you want. Why don't I leave?" Zichen looked at him. It would be a lie to say that he was not sullen. However, he was already here. What else could he do? Naturally, there was no trust between people. Zichen was not stupid. The reason why he took out the ring was because there were two five-strength realm cultivators here. He could not kill them all at once. "Leave." The five-strength realm frowned. "You are so untrustworthy. Do you think you can leave?" Zichen said again, "Leave the ring, and I'll leave." "You should have left the ring. This is the price you have to pay for not keeping your word." The five-strength realm said, "So this won't do." "Then why don't you give me an idea?" Zichen continued. His expression was very calm. He did not refute, as if he was really the one who did not keep his word. Luobu was watching from the side and found it very interesting. "Wait here for now. You can only leave when we tell you to." "All right." Zichen stood motionless in his original spot. The five-strengths realm cultivator with the ring turned around and left. However, the other cultivator was still standing guard. He glanced at Luo Bu. Luo Bu understood the meaning behind this glance and immediately nodded to leave. A moment later, many people arrived, standing in the distance, pointing and commenting. "Did you see that? This person is not trustworthy. We clearly agreed that we would split the martial crystals equally, but he actually wanted to keep them for himself. He claimed that he didn't find them, but we found the evidence." Luo Bu explained what had happened in a loud voice. "Too shameless. How can we let such people stay? Kill him. That's right, kill him. You don't keep your word. How despicable. To think that we even wanted to take you in. After hearing the truth." Everyone was filled with righteous indignation and threatened to kill Ziqin. Ziqin stood there and glanced at the crowd calmly. At this moment, there was no anger in his heart, only sorrow. These pitiful people who want to kill me. Kill him. How dare you look over here? I've never seen someone as shameless as you. Ungrateful and ungrateful. You're really an ingrate. This kind of person can't live in this world. Everyone was enraged and shouted loudly. At this moment, Ziqin had successfully aroused public anger. Everyone, no matter what, this is still a human life. Sir has decided to let him go, Luobu said. What? Why would he let such an untrustworthy person go? Sir is too kind. It wouldn't be too much to kill such a person 100 times. Ziqin listened to those voices quietly, his expression still calm. Luobu looked at Ziqin. Ziqin's calmness made him feel a chill in his heart. The 5 strengths realm cultivator left and went to the outside world. He came to a deserted area and stood there. Not long after, another person appeared. He was the 5 strengths realm cultivator in charge of this matter. His name was Marcus. This time he mobilized tens of thousands of people to find Ziqin alone. As time passed, he had to pay a huge price every day. Fred, why are you looking for me? Marcus came in front of the 5 strengths realm cultivator. Fred said, "The person you want is with me." A cold light flashed in Marcus' eyes. Fred continued, "Don't misunderstand. I have no ill intentions. I just want to make a deal with you." "What kind of deal?" Marcus asked. "I know that kid. He can find killing crystals, so he's worth a lot." Fred said, "I only have one request. When he's no longer of any use, kill him. If you agree, I'll give him to you. If you don't, I'll kill him." "Will you be so kind?" Marcus said coldly. "Or are you worried that we'll find something if we continue to search?" "Of course it won't be that simple. You need to give me 100,000 streams of energy," Fred said. "Compared to your aimless search and huge losses every day, this amount shouldn't be too much, right?" "It's not too much. I want him alive." Marcus agreed immediately. According to the information he received, Ziqin was very good at finding killing crystals. Relatively speaking, 100,000 streams of energy was nothing. "Okay, I'll bring him here 3 days later. We'll make the deal then." "Okay." Fred turned and left, heading towards Jutin City. After Marcus went back, he signaled everyone to go back and stop the search. Fred returned. At this moment, Ziqin was being cursed by everyone in the city. Their words were very unpleasant and merciless. Ziqin remained silent the entire time. He did not defend himself, nor did he refute. The crowd only quieted down when Fred arrived. "Everyone, although he's heartless, we can't be disloyal," Fred said loudly. "We promised him that we'd let him leave alive, so we have to do what we said. Otherwise, won't we be like him and become people we hate?" Everyone looked at Fred with agitated expressions and shouted his name loudly. "Get lost. The reason why we let you go is because we don't want to become people like you. Hurry up and let him go. Every moment he stays here, I feel that it's an insult to Jutin City. Get lost quickly." Some people were cheering, while others were cursing. Zi Chen's expression was still calm. Explain? It was useless. It might even lead to a fatal disaster. Zi Chen had no choice but to accept the fact that he was a fish on the chopping block. Even so, he might not be able to survive. Although he felt aggrieved, he could only accept it. "Let's go, I'll send you away," Fred said, "because we promised that we'd let you leave alive." Zi Chen's heart jumped when he heard this. Was he going to kill him personally? Amidst the cursing, he left with Fred. Zi Chen had been on guard, worried that the other party would kill him. Chapter 5046. Zi Chen saw an unfamiliar 5 strengths realm cultivator. It was Marcus. He was also looking at Zi Chen with a scrutinizing gaze. Fred walked closer and said with a smile, "I have brought him here. Where are the items?" Marcus waved his hand, and a large amount of energy appeared. It was dazzling. Even Zi Chen was shocked. There were too many of them. In hindsight, he realized that after his things had been stolen, they were now being sold. After Fred kept the energy, he glanced at Marcus and said, "Don't forget our agreement." After saying that, he turned and left. He did not even look at Zi Chen. Zi Chen looked at Marcus. Marcus's expression was relatively calm. At the very least, he was still alive now. Along the way, he had guessed that Fred would kill him. "Let's go." Marcus looked at Zi Chen and then turned to leave. Zi Chen followed him. Zi Chen's breath was unstable. Marcus threw a beam of energy to him. Zi Chen caught it and refined it as he walked. "Don't think of running away." "I will kill," Marcus said indifferently. Marcus said faintly, "Although you are somewhat useful, once you lose control, we will still kill you by force." Zi Chen followed behind and did not say anything. Marcus continued, "We have already figured out the situation. The reason why you killed them was because they were unfair to you first. After you return this time, no one will target you again. Your duty is to find the killing crystals." Zi Chen looked at Marcus in surprise. However, he could only see his back. "Before the deal, Fred said that after you are no longer useful, he will let me kill you. He also asked for 100,000 streams of energy." Marcus said without turning his head, "You can rest assured. As long as you don't play any tricks, I will not kill the innocent. When this matter is over, I will bring you directly to Shatter Fa City." Zi Chen gritted his teeth. It would be a lie if he said that he was not angry. He had never felt so sullen before. It seemed that ever since he accepted Theseus's threat and left the Saint Spirit Realm, he had been in this state. He had never had a moment of glory. "I am very curious. If he knew you were useful, why did he let you come back?" Marcus looked at Zi Chen for the first time. Zi Chen said, "He asked me to help him find the martial crystal. In the end, he did not find the martial crystal, so he took the ring I snatched from Gavin." When Marcus heard this, he laughed. "Sure enough, he will never wake up early if there is no benefit for him. There should be a lot of energy in the ring, right? All of Gavin's private goods are in it. There are tens of thousands of them. In addition, there is a batch of killing crystals enough to kill a 5 strengths realm cultivator." Zi Chen did not hide the truth. Marcus was even more surprised. He laughed and said, "It seems that Fred is going to be rich this time. With your personality, you didn't kill him directly. It seems like he's not the only 5 strengths realm cultivator there." Zi Chen nodded. "If there was only one person, he would die." "You are also interesting." Marcus laughed. "It seems that my luck is not bad. If I met you first, those killing crystals would have landed on me." "Not bad, not bad at all." Zi Chen was very surprised by Marcus's carefree attitude. He said directly, "I am just protecting myself. When you go back, as long as you do not court death, no one will dare to target you. That spellbreaker has also gone back and will not appear again." After Sanglari left, Marcus learned more about the truth. He even learned from the beginning to the end. The conclusion he came to was not much different from what he knew. After all, he had walked into Spellbreaker City step by step from the outside. He knew what was going on here. The only difference was that Chen was special. He was not killed. Instead, he started to fight back. The two of them walked forward in silence. After a while, Marcus broke the silence. "Can I trust you?" Chen was stunned. He did not understand what Marcus meant. "Can I trust you?" Marcus asked again. Chen could tell that the other party was asking seriously, so he asked, "What about me? Can I trust you?" "Of course." Marcus nodded. "What is in Spellbreaker City?" Chen asked the question that was on his mind. Marcus did not answer the question immediately. Instead, he looked deeply at Chen. It was obvious that this person who had been running away and being chased was still curious about the city. Curiosity also meant that he was looking forward to it. "There's a world." Marcus's answer stunned Chen. This was somewhat unexpected. A world? Chen did not dare to believe it. Was it not a city? Yes, a very big world. Marcus looked ahead and said, "It might be even bigger than this place." "How is that possible?" Chen was shocked. That city did not look like a world. "What is in it?" "There are spellbreakers and spirit spellbreakers." "What are spirit spellbreakers?" Chen knew about spellbreakers, but what were spirit spellbreakers? Chen did not know. "People like us are called spirit spellbreakers," Marcus explained. "There are also a small number of shadow destroyers. It is just that there are very few of them. It is very rare to see them. Over there, spellbreakers are usually ranked higher than advanced spirit spellbreakers." Seeing Chen's puzzled look, Marcus explained, "For example, Solali from last time. Although she was only at the 4th strength state, her status was slightly higher than mine." "Why?" Chen did not understand. "Why is her status 1 level higher when she is 1 level lower?" "Because spellbreakers are the original inhabitants of this place. This place originally belonged to them. The various rules of heaven and earth were prepared for them. We're just outsiders. Coming here to adapt to the rules is actually just a transition." "Transition? What do you mean?" "Rumor has it that in the core of Spellbreaker City, there is a passageway that leads directly to the immortal spell realm." This was the first time Chen heard the words immortal spell realm since coming here. Originally, he thought that this place had nothing to do with the immortal spell realm and was an unknown place. The passageway to the immortal spell realm was forcefully closed by an unknown force, causing the 10,000 spirit realm to be unable to enter the immortal spell realm. Therefore, everyone needs to pass through here. Seeing Chen's shocked expression, Marcus shook his head and said, "I don't know about the rest. What I told you was only told to me by a senior back then. But as for where the passageway is, no one knows. Many people even say that that place is just a fantasy. It is just a beautiful wish of a spirit spellbreaker. So, can I trust you?" Marcus changed the topic again. Chen nodded. Since Marcus had told him these secrets, he could naturally trust him. If he was trustworthy, he would not cheat him. Swoosh! Marcus threw an item over. Chen caught it and realized that it was a ring. "It is much more convenient with this by your side." Chen immediately recognized the ring as its owner and opened it. He realized that there were thousands of strands of energy inside. "Does Spellbreaker City have everything?" Chen asked. "What do you want?" Marcus looked at him. "Wu Jingshi," Chen said. "I want to break through to the next realm." Marcus looked into Chen's eyes and said, "You actually want to take revenge?" "Yes." Chen did not hide it. This time, he had suffered a great loss. He had to take revenge. Chapter 5047. Along the way, Marcus told Chen some things about Pofa City. He could see that Marcus's attitude was very good, at least for now. Compared to Fred, the difference between the two was like heaven and earth. In a situation where he had no choice, Zichen was more willing to follow Marcus. What's a shadow destroyer? During this time, Zichen asked another question. Marcus had mentioned spellbreakers and spiritual spellcasters, but he did not mention shadow destroyers in detail. Spiritual spellcasters cultivate the body, spellbreakers cultivate the soul, and shadow destroyers cultivate both body and soul. Zichen was confused by Marcus's explanation. He clearly did not understand. Marcus continued, whether it's spiritual spellcasters or spellbreakers, at this stage, it's just a facade. Therefore, after the body dies, the Tao disappears. Only when one reaches the six forces state, spiritual spellcasters will have a real physical body, and spellbreakers will have real soul power. Shadow destroyers are compatible with both powers. They have the soul power of spellbreakers and the energy of spiritual spellcasters, so they are very rare. This change would only occur at the six forces state. Clearly, this was still very far from Zichen. After all, he was only at the third force state. The two returned to the mineral vein. Along the way, many people looked at Zichen with strange expressions. In order to find him, tens of thousands of people were mobilized. There were also some people who were gloating. When they found Zichen last time, Zichen was beaten up. This time it would be even worse. However, what they expected did not happen. After Zichen returned, not only did he not receive any punishment, he even became a small leader. Those from Pofa City treated him very well. On the same day, Marcus ordered many first force state cultivators to enter the mineral vein. Everyone was very confused. Wasn't Zichen supposed to collect killing crystals? Ordinary people could not come into contact with those things. Along the way, Zichen had already told Marcus that if they wanted to find more killing crystals, they would have to dig deeper. It was impossible to count on him alone. In fact, Zichen's idea was to gather some 4 strengths realm warriors. After all, they could temporarily resist the killing intent. As long as they didn't dig out a large amount of killing intent, they wouldn't be in any life-threatening danger. However, Marcus did not listen to this suggestion. Nevertheless, he did not want the strength boundary experts to risk their lives for nothing. Anyone who entered would be rewarded with 10 strands of power every day. Compared to the treatment they received back then, it was several times better. This moved many people. At the same time, Zichen, who had been appointed as the leader of this killing crystal mine, warned everyone to slow down and retreat as soon as they discovered danger. Survival was the most important thing. Of course, if they were to cheat, they would be punished. Marcus showed enough sincerity, and in order to show his sincerity, Zichen went in on the same day and came out the next day with 13 killing crystals of irregular shapes. Marcos couldn't help but smile when he saw this. As expected, being honest with each other was the only way to solve problems. As for the people who came with Marcus, their eyes were wide open. This efficiency was too terrifying. Marcus was in a good mood. On the same day, he gave everyone who entered the mine an extra strand of power as a reward. This made many second strength boundary experts envious. They wanted to go in together. Compared to the first strength boundary experts, their ability to resist killing intent was stronger. Compared to being a guard here, how could they gain more by going in? Marcus did not stop them. Anyone who wanted to go in could go in and test it out. Therefore, every day during the day, everyone would carry baskets into the mine. At night, they would carry baskets of waste rocks out. These baskets represented their day's harvest. After these waste rocks were brought out, they would be screened again to see if there were any crystals or hidden killing crystals inside. Zichen walked in the mine, looking for dangerous areas. When everyone retreated when they encountered danger, he would enter the danger zone and use the massacre spirit to absorb the killing intent. Then he would dig out the killing crystals. On the second day, Zichen did not gain anything. On the third day, he gained 15 crystals. On the fourth day, he gained 18 crystals. Zi Chen's efficiency was surprisingly high. Everyone was shocked. Those professionals in Pofa City were not as efficient as Zi Chen. Everyone was very curious as to how Zi Chen did it, but no one asked. After accumulating more than 300 killing crystals, Marcos made a trip back to Lapa City. During this time, Zi Chen stayed in the mine and did not appear. He kept all the killing crystals in his ring. Although no one made things difficult for him during this time, Zi Chen did not want to cause trouble at this time. He just waited quietly for Marcus to return. Ever since he came here with Miao Pengfei, he had been in a passive position. Therefore, he tried his best to avoid trouble. 8 days later, Marcus returned. When Zi Chen heard the news, he walked out of the mine and took out the harvest of these 8 days. It was close to 200 crystals. Your efficiency is really shocking. Marcus sighed. Even those people in Pofa City are not as efficient as you. Then, Marcus took out an item and threw it to Zi Chen. This is for you. Zi Chen reached out and caught it. He felt a strong martial energy from it. This is a martial crystal. Zi Chen's expression changed. He could not believe it. I promised you, so I naturally have to do it. Marco smiled and said, Recently we have been cooperating very well. This can be considered as a show of sincerity. The energy contained in the martial crystal was much stronger than the scattered martial energy. Zi Chen hoped to break through again. I've given you the martial crystal, but you can't affect the progress of the killing crystals. You can still refine them appropriately, Marcus said. Zi Chen nodded to show that he understood. In the following days, Zi Chen controlled the number of killing crystals to be around 10 crystals per day. This speed was not slow. He began to refine the martial crystal for the rest of the time. Time passed. Marcus returned with the killing crystals for the second time. Zi Chen sat in the depths of the mine. During this period, he had not finished refining the martial crystal. Therefore, he had to make full use of this time and concentrate on refining. He sat cross-legged. The energy of the martial crystal was constantly entering his body. After the energy entered his body, part of it was absorbed by his body, and part of it was absorbed by his heart. After the heart absorbed the energy, it would release it at a very slow speed. Bang! 2 days later, the martial crystal in Zi Chen's hand shattered. The energy in it was finally exhausted. However, he did not break through. The main reason was that his heart had absorbed nearly half of the energy. Only when the energy was released could he truly break through. Therefore, Zi Chen began to mine the martial crystal. During this period, every beat of his heart would send out a stream of energy. Another 2 days passed. Zi Chen broke through. Buzz! Chapter 5048. A piece of martial crystal helped Zi Chen break through again. Feeling the powerful aura of the fourth force state, his face revealed a hint of excitement. He finally broke through again. If he had been in the fourth strength state last time, he would not have been so passive and could not even protect his ring. He seemed to have been sullen since he came here. Zi Chen's eyes flashed with a rare coldness. He, who had always been gentle, showed his sharpness at this moment. The fourth strength state gave him the ability to take revenge. It seems that I need to save up some killing crystals. Zi Chen looked around. Without killing crystals, it would be difficult for him to fight against someone in the fifth strength state. This time he must take revenge. Zi Chen began to get busy until Marcus returned. Zi Chen took the killing crystals and walked out. There were quite a few of them. Marcus shifted his gaze away from the crystal and looked at the 4 strands of power surrounding Zi Chen. He said with some surprise, "You broke through so quickly." Zi Chen nodded and said, "I want revenge." What? Marcus was stunned. Zi Chen told him what happened, including the truth that those people saw. The existence of the rebel army is indeed a problem. It's not a big deal to destroy them. Marcus said hesitantly, but you're only in the 4th strength state now. How can you kill 2 in the 5th strength state? Zichen said confidently, I have confidence in using killing crystals. In fact, Zichen's biggest confidence was not in the killing crystals, but in the massacre spirit. After staying here for such a long time, he found many killing crystals, but he found even more killing intent. These killing intents were all absorbed by the massacre spirit. Therefore, Zichen, who was only in the 4th strength state, was confident that he could kill someone in the 5th strength state. After hesitating, Marcus shook his head. No, it's too dangerous. It doesn't matter if we lose some killing crystals, but if you die, our losses will be too great. How about this? You wait patiently. I'll help you find more martial crystals. Although they won't be very useful, if you get a few more, you might be able to break through again. When you reach the 5 strength state, it will be much easier. Zichen could tell that Marcus really cared for him. However, he did not know how long it would take to break through to the 5 forces realm. Zichen did not want to wait. This was no small matter, and Marcus could not make up his mind. To them, Zichen was really important. However, Zichen's attitude was very firm. Marcus thought for a moment and said, Are you sure you have the confidence to kill Fred? Zichen nodded. You also said that there are 2 5 powers realm cultivators there. It shouldn't be a problem to prepare more kill crystals. Zichen thought for a moment and said, If there are more, it might be dangerous, but I will run away when the situation is not good. This is good too. Marcus said, I'll go with you. If we can't escape, at least we can take care of each other. Zichen looked at Marcos and felt touched. Ever since he came here, he had never met a single person with a conscience. Marcus was clearly different from the rest. Prepare. No matter whether you succeed or not, you can't die. Marcus said in a deep voice, This time, I'm letting you go without permission. If you die, I'll be in trouble. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Zichen turned and entered the mineral vein. Then he began to search for as many kill crystals as possible. 5 days later, Zichen walked out of the mineral vein. Marcus was already waiting for him. Let's go. The 2 of them walked out of the mineral vein, asterisk, 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 standing on a mountain peak. Zichen looked at Jutian City from afar. So, they were hiding here. No wonder Fred took the initiative to show up last time. Marcus stood beside Zichen and said, Remember, you must be careful. If you can't beat them, run in this direction. Zichen nodded and then rushed down the mountain peak. Marcus looked at Zichen's back and murmured, Don't die! As someone who came to Pofa City from the outside, he understood Zichen very well. It was not easy for him to survive until now. Therefore, he gave Zichen the authority. If Zichen succeeded, it would not benefit him at all. However, if he failed and died inside, he would be in big trouble. Therefore, he began to pray. Zichen walked towards Jutian City. Just as he reached the gate, someone walked out. When they saw that person, Zichen was stunned. The other person was also stunned. Hu Zheng, it's you? The person at the gate was the one who first told Zichen about Wu Jingshi and the rebel army. Zichen, it's you? Hu Zheng was also very surprised. He was even a little happy. However, his expression soon changed. I heard about you. Master has already let you go. Why are you here again? Zichen did not answer Hu Zheng. Seeing him here, he understood many things. It seems that they know about my existence. You should be the one who told them, right? I told them. I wanted to help you, but I didn't expect you to do such a thing. Hu Zheng was very disappointed. Master has already let you go. Why are you here again? Zichen said, The master you were talking about took my ring that day. There were tens of thousands of energy and hundreds of killing crystals inside. I am here to ask for them. That's impossible. Hu Zheng's expression changed. Master did not say anything about this. He only said that Chen did not keep his promise and stole the martial crystals. However, he still let Chen go. You have been following Shaman. You should know that he has a special ring, right? Chen said. After I killed Jiawen, that ring was mine. Then what about Wu Jingshi? Hu Zheng still could not believe it. You have seen Wu Jingshi? Chen glanced at Hu Zheng, then strode toward Gathering Sky City. Hu Zheng turned around and looked at Chen with a complicated expression. They knew about Chen because of Hu Zheng's news. Chen did not embezzle their energy, and even saved many people. Therefore, he wanted to help Chen. However, after hearing about Chen, he was very disappointed. He felt that he could not judge a book by its cover. Today, he saw Chen again. Chen's words made him waver. Fred, get out here. Chen shouted as soon as he entered Jutian City. His voice spread out, attracting the attention of many people. Hu Zheng, who was about to leave, stood there and watched silently. Then he realized that Chen was in the 4th strength state. How long had it been? He broke through again? This shout caused many people to recognize Chen. All of them were stunned at first, but then they started to curse and curse. Kid, didn't you leave? Why did you come back? Do you want to die? I let you go last time, but you don't know how to be grateful. How dare you come out? Kill him! Everyone shouted. Murderous intent surged as they charged forward. Chen, how dare you? Luobu heard the commotion and hurried over. Are you here to die? Boom! Chen suddenly rushed forward and pressed his palm on Luobu's head, creating a huge commotion. Chapter 5049. Chen pressed down on Luobu's head and slammed it on the ground. Boom! The ground caved in and cracked like a spider web. The others who were still cursing were shocked when they saw this and quickly retreated. At this moment, they noticed that Chen was no longer in the 3rd realm but the 4th realm. They stood in the distance and watched this scene in shock. Chen picked up Luobu again and said coldly, I trusted you, so I gave you the ring. What happened in the end? Luobu sneered and said, In the end, I found that you had martial crystals in your ring. You didn't keep your word. Poof! A ray of light flashed and broke Luobu's arm. Luobu's expression changed. He glared at Chen and shouted, How dare you? Poof! Chen looked at Luobu and said no more. A ray of light appeared again, and the other arm was broken. Chen was smiling, but this smile looked like a demon to Luobu. This was completely different from the Chen he knew. Chen was still holding Luobu's head tightly. A ray of light appeared again, and with a poof his right leg was gone. Ah! Luobu screamed in horror. He felt like he had seen a real demon. Stop! Seeing this, the people outside immediately shouted, Come over if you want to die. Chen's eyes were cold. He swept his gaze around, and endless killing intent surged. Everyone was stared at by Chen and did not dare to step forward. Poof! Luobu's last leg was gone, and he was now a human stick. It wasn't me, I didn't take it. Luobu was terrified and kept screaming. At this moment, it was difficult for him to recover. He felt his life slipping away. You betrayed my trust. Chen said, I trusted you, so I gave you the ring. In the end, you coveted my killing crystal. It wasn't me, it wasn't me. Luobu kept shouting. You were there at that time. The ring wasn't with me. I didn't take it. If you continue to watch the show and don't come out, I'm going to twist his head off. Chen suddenly looked in a certain direction. My lord, save me, save me. Luobu shouted loudly. Because of his excessive fear, his voice cracked. Last time, I was kind enough to let you go, but I didn't expect you to come back. You even used such a heavy hand on my people. How dare you? Fred's voice sounded. The crowd dispersed and Fred walked out. His eyes were cold as he looked at Zichen. You ungrateful thing. Quickly release Luo Bu. Luo Bu, on the other hand, looked at Zichen with a pleading expression. At this moment he felt an intense threat of death. Buzz! Rays of light crisscrossed in Zichen's hands and disintegrated Luo Bu's body. His body fell to the ground in several pieces and then disappeared into thin air. The crowd was in an uproar. They never thought that the other party would be so bold as to kill someone directly. Was he tired of living? You want to die? Fred's eyes were filled with murderous intent. I hate people who don't keep their promises the most. Zichen turned around and looked at Fred. We agreed that I would show him the ring and he would return it to me if there were no martial crystals. In the end, he went back on his word and gave the ring to you. Fred rebuked angrily, You're talking nonsense. There are clearly martial crystals in there. Zichen smiled mockingly. Is that so? Then I wonder who you gave the martial crystals in there to? Zichen looked at the crowd. Did any of you receive the martial crystals as a reward? The crowd was silent. Many people looked at Fred. This kid has a sharp tongue. Don't listen to his nonsense. Fred said coldly, Last time I let him go in front of everyone. I didn't expect him to be so ungrateful and bite back today. Zichen sneered. You let me go? You have the nerve to say that? You sold me out with 100,000 streams of energy. You didn't let me go. As soon as these words came out, it caused another uproar. 100,000 strands of energy was definitely a huge number to the people present. Regardless of whether this was true or not, this number gave them a fright. Nonsense, it's a bunch of nonsense. Fred said, Why don't you take a piss and look at yourself? Is it worth 100,000 streams of energy? You know whether it's worth 100,000 streams of energy or not. Zichen said, Do you know why I came out of there that day? Zichen pointed to the room where there was an entrance to the mineral vein underground. Fred said, You found the martial crystals, so you naturally wanted to run away. You didn't expect to be discovered by us. Zichen said, Since I found the martial crystals, why didn't I refine them inside? Why did I come out? Why did I run away? Don't tell me you dare to go in and find me? Fred was stunned and then said, You naturally felt uneasy refining them inside, so you wanted to run away. You're half right. I really didn't feel at ease. Zichen sneered and said, Because I was being searched for by tens of thousands of people, so I didn't want to stay here for too long. I didn't want to implicate you and the people living here. So when I didn't find the martial crystals, I chose to leave immediately. I didn't want to implicate you. But who would have thought that you took the ring I got after killing Gavin? Not only did you take the energy and the killing crystal, but you also slandered me for taking the martial crystals. That's not all. The most terrible thing is that you used 100,000 streams of energy to make a deal with the people chasing me and sold me out. As soon as these words came out, many people's faces changed. They looked at Fred one after another, searching for the truth in their eyes. Don't talk nonsense here. If what you said is true, why didn't you say it last time? Fred rebuked angrily. Because I was only in the 3rd strength state last time. I wasn't qualified to tell the truth. Zichen said, And I'm not here today to seek justice, so you don't have to worry. Then why are you here? I'm here to kill you. Zichen's eyes were filled with cold, murderous intent. I'm here to kill you. Fred smiled sarcastically. Zichen also sneered and turned around immediately. He raised his hand and dozens of killing crystals flew out. Do you really think I'm an idiot? It turned out that another 5th strength state was trying to sneak behind Zichen and launch a sneak attack. Pa! 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 The killing crystals exploded and the murderous intent raged, drowning the 5th strength state. Zichen looked at him indifferently and kept throwing out killing crystals. one after another. Exclamations came from all around, and everyone started to retreat. They weren't like the fifth strength state, who didn't fear the murderous intent. As they retreated, their expressions were filled with shock. Each killing crystal was expensive, but Zichen actually used them as hidden weapons. Pa! 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 The killing crystals were still exploding. The raging murderous intent surrounded the fifth strength state and kept strangling him. The fifth strength state blocked the murderous intent and moved forward. Obviously, he naively thought that as long as he could block the murderous intent and get close to Zichen, he could kill him. At this moment, Zichen took out the bone rod and smashed it down. A ray of light scattered, and the fifth strength state was knocked back by the rod. Wang. At the same time, the killing spirit appeared and directly attacked Fred, who was getting close to Zichen. Puff! You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.